The row groom appreciates your recommendation.
Twitch, what the fuck have you done? What is this bullshit? Holy shit, Twitch, this is the most unnecessary thing you could have done for the platform. There is a hair hanging off my microphone and it's distracting me. This is one of the least important things that I guarantee the fuck you, nobody was asking for this change. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, type /me and then whatever you want into chat. If you were at all familiar with how /me used to work before Twitch went and fucking ruined it today, it used to show your message next to your name in the color that matches with your username. It's like an action command, like a /me, blah blah blah, whatever. You know, it's an emote, but not an emote. No comment check. Welcome to the Road Room. How you doing, folks? Hello, everybody. Early raid, let's get right into it. Why not? We've just started and we're trashing Twitch's questionable decision-making with regards to the /me chat command. I am inflamed, to say the least. And I think I dare say quite a few other people are too, because this is a change nobody asked for. There are other things on the agenda. How did your stream go, NCC? What'd you get up to tonight? Tell us all about it. Yes, it was pretty, and now it's just garbage. Now it is just garbage. You type /me in chat, and it used to show your message as it looks better the old way looks. Look at this. Look at how they massacred my boy. Does this not look significantly better than this? This here before, I have never seen such a significant glow down in my life. This ain't a glow up, Twitch. This ain't helping anyone. This isn't helping. So what they've said here, to clarify for anyone who's curious, we're updating the /me chat command to help minimize confusion and its potential for abuse. The command will now look more like a normal chat message. What potential for abuse? Other questions about chat commands? And yeah, here's Sir Caitlin. Who in the fuck asked for this? Also, this is more important than making a safe username system. There's so much wrong with this. How are folks doing? Everyone coming in from the raid. I'm just continuing on my tangent until I hear what's going on. Are you inflamed, Mango? I'm inflamed. I'm not still banned on Twitter. No, I'm okay now. I'm okay now. But this thing here. You helped us identify this issue. Let's have a look at this. Okay, so what was it? No, that's just please continue to share your feedback. So, who Who is actually contributing to this? You helped us identify this issue. Who identified this issue? This is the issue, Draco. They changed the /me from a colored message to an italicized message. Like, why? Why? I can't fathom this. I don't have an answer for this question. Let's get rid of that for a minute. Stop. There we go. Maybe for colorblind people? Arguably? Maybe? Like italics when your character is having a meltdown. But they don't mention that. They never specifically mentioned that that was the reason. They were just like, to help... This is how they worded it. To help minimize confusion and its potential for abuse. And I'm trying to figure out what is the potential for abuse here? How could you have possibly abused that? Yeah, exactly. I cannot fathom what their mindset was. What potential for abuse? Twitch, and like, I don't know where it was in the thread. Somebody mentioned this specifically. Oh my, look at this abuse. You have an italicized message now. I feel so harmed by this. Forget all the people misgendering me and dead naming me in chat. Well, nobody dead names me, I suppose. But you know, forget all of the transphobic bullshit all the time. The italics is the most offensive thing I think I've seen in my chat in all my years on this platform. Good God. But there was actually somebody mentioned. I'm certain somebody mentioned specifically that this thing was on the user voice, the Twitch user voice thing, like this. Bring back colored /me messages, or at least give streamers the authority to enable or disable it, but the entire point was how it stood out with color. Plain black with italics just renders it useless, or plain white. But anyway, so there's already a petition. I'm going to vote on this one. Can I sign in, or does it require me to log? Yeah, there we go. I'm signing this one. For anyone who wants to, go and sign this one. Italics do make me sick as well. Chronic toxicity. Closest thing to the abuse with the original /me was people using it to try. Yeah, that's it. And that doesn't even really answer the question. Like, that's... I admit I fell for that gag a couple of times when I started streaming, but you pick up on it pretty quickly when you realize either A, I haven't attached a payment method, or B, I have an alert system, or C, like there's, you know, all it takes is a second to think about, oh, hang on, if I'd actually gotten a tip, would it show up in chat? You know, all you got to do is think logically about that for like 2 seconds, and you would realize that the troll donations are troll donations. It's not rocket science, you know? Just donated $6 billion, thank you. And yes, regrettably, Keck W Man has passed away. I've forgotten what his name was. Regrettably, sadly. Anyways, all you can think of is using it to instead of highlight message, but you don't think that's what you call abuse. Yeah, like it's kind of dumb. Assumption is that you can't make it look like official messages along the lines of user has reported your account to Twitch. Is that even a thing though? I mean, I suppose it could be. It could be to someone who's not familiar with the platform all that much, but at the end of the day, like this again, it comes. I've noticed, you know, Twitch doesn't give much of a shit about their safety and security council or whatever they're called. Because here's ferociously Steph's take: the best use of /me was for a moderator to adopt a mod voice or something with greater importance. Can you re-add it as a /mod or something for our moderators to stand out when they're speaking with authority? Like, I agree with that. And quite frankly, it should have always just been an option. We should have been given the option to customize our chat in the way it appears. People literally use the raccoon as an emote as a racist dog whistle, and they still won't delete that. Oh yeah, that's the thing. It's like, why is this a priority? This is the thing. Why is this a priority? Snails, how was my day? My day was pretty good. How was your day? And I haven't had troll donos in a while, honestly. Bad Bunny, Nazis are wrong. Banned, I know. I heard about that, yeah. A bit fucking garbage. But like, why is... Like, of all the things, Twitch, of all of the things that people have been asking for example, why was this on your list of priorities? I just cannot fathom why this particular stupid thing was anything they would even remotely consider. And the only thing that I can think of, Meat Tray, welcome to the Rogue Room. The only thing I can think of is it's easier for them to implement some nonsense like this that really affects nothing in the grand scheme of things than to implement, again, the trans tag, which has 9,000 something votes on their user voice platform. I believe this is one of the most upvoted. I mean, that's a Reddit term, but this is one of the most voted for requests on the user voice thing. They continue to just fuck us around with it too. It is hard enough finding trans representation in our daily lives with the LGBTQIA+ tag. One still needs to browse through channels and spend time in them to find trans streamers. A trans tag would help people searching for these communities. Welcome to the Rogue Room, Radis. And here's Twitch responding on October 20th. They haven't responded since, I don't think. Well, actually, no, we'll get into that. As promised, just checking in to let you all know that we haven't forgotten you. We still do not have anything to share, but the team is reading all of your feedback to take into consideration. Thank you for all your continued patience. Hello, Bahama Mom. It's a dress. It's a pretty dress. Trans rights. Can we get some trans rights in chat? And this has got over 1,142 comments. Like, it's got a lot of comments. And yeah, here's this person who responded. I posted a picture of this. Because, you know, as promised, just checking in to let you all know we haven't forgotten you. Me in italics and not in color. Rolls eyes. Priorities, Twitch. Priorities. Why do they do this? Why have they got this insistence on not doing the things that people have been requesting for years and adding features and changing features that nobody wanted them to add or change? Why, like, there's a reason a lot of people are so angry with this platform. It's because they continually fuck us around on a routine basis. And it's like, why? You don't have to. There's no reason you have to. But anyway. And here's Miabyte's little breakdown of what happened on Twitch's Let's Chat show that they did today. I didn't catch it myself. Actually, if I go... I wonder, hang on a second. Because Twitch has their own Twitch channel, of course. There is a VOD of it. There is a VOD 15 hours ago. I might actually watch this and have a... I should have watched this today so we could properly talk about it as though I'd seen it. But... what we've seen, we'll just go with like what Mia has mentioned here. The trans tag finally got addressed by Twitch on their Let's Chat show. Any guesses what they said? If your guess was, we have no news, then you would be correct. Absolutely ridiculous, 100% expected. Twitch, you have to do better. As a transgender content creator whose community is currently facing monumental hurdles in the social and political spheres, I feel it would be great if Twitch had the community's back. You know, actually stood in solidarity with us. I guess it's too much to expect. We hear you, we see you. No, you don't, Twitch. And, so hang on, I have an idea. I can't imagine it will make much impact, but it will send a strong and clear message to Twitch. Keep an eye on your DMs. I apologize if I seem angry. I mean, I think we all are. I think we're all angry at this. No, I never prepare anything. I ramble. This is just me getting pissed off at shit. Anyway, somebody mentioned, I forget where they mentioned this, but allegedly, according to someone on the Twitter who watched the thing, they spent 20 minutes discussing the hot tub streamers thing and 2 minutes discussing the trans tag thing on this. We could watch it, but I don't know if you would. Then I wouldn't be doing my stream, I'd be reviewing theirs, you know? Check out some dumb selfies of Rogue in italics. Thank you, Bodwick. But yeah, it's less angry per se, more disappointment. I'm really just unsurprised by Twitch at this point. I want to see Twitch make an announcement where the community is like, yes. I really want to see Twitch make an announcement where they're just, this is good. Everyone just unanimously gets together and goes, this is fucking amazing. Thank you, Twitch. But they just keep fucking up time and again. By the way, let's get the gun show going. Us. Oh my god. Hello, Ed Snack. How you going? Who the fuck cares about hot tub streamers? Hot tubs are awesome. Yeah, they are. Metagame balance tends to be based around nerfs. Well, true. Is that what this is? Is this nerfing Twitch to somehow counteract hot tub streamers? I don't know. I don't know. What? I'm really disappointed with this platform on a regular basis. And none of the other streaming platforms are necessarily better, mind you. It's just that Twitch, it seems like they go out of their way to disappoint the community as much as they possibly can. And I'm doing this on Twitch right now. And yes, by the way, the octopus is angry. Because obviously I'm angry. We're all angry. And it feels like, you know, especially with regards to the trans tag thing, they keep giving us excuse after excuse. One of the major excuses on the trans tag thing is, oh, it will be used for abuse. People will use the trans tag and they will go and hunt down trans streamers and harass them. And it's like, have you been in a trans person stream ever, Twitch moderators? No matter what we do, no matter how we set ourselves up, we get harassed routinely regardless. A tag's not going to change that. You know? The LGBT tag is used the same way. Exactly. Of course trans lives matter. They're fucking amazing. Hey, Rooster, how you doing? Oh no, women showing their bodies, the horror. Most of the hot tub haters are just jelly. They don't look good in a hot tub. Probably. Yeah, we're concerned about abuse. Then why did you abuse my eyes with the updater / me? And it's like... Again, I'm just trying to rack my brain on this. Its potential for abuse. Help minimize confusion and its potential for abuse. What does that mean? What does that mean, Twitch? I really wish they had clarified. Twitch... Well, I mean, is Twitch a TERF, folks? Here, just hold on. Hang on, I need to ask you. No additional votes. Is Twitch a TERF? Given how much they don't want to address the trans tag thing, I mean, trans exclusionary radical feminist, it's a bit of an extreme thing, but is Twitch, let's just, you know, imagine that the question says, is Twitch transphobic? And honestly, given how often they dismiss this trans tag thing in favor of so many other things, it certainly feels like it. Thing is, you transgender person don't understand why you should be attacked for that, because people are assholes. This is what they took from us. This is what they took from us. Look at this. This is what they took from us. Dude, it looks... This is just so much more aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, feminism appropriating radical transphobe, I agree. This just looks hideous. Genuinely, this looks hideous. This just looks aesthetically pleasing. On that note alone, Twitch, rescind the change. On that note alone. You know? Deadass considering the shift to YouTube for streaming, but YouTube ain't much better for trying to find... I don't even know how you find other streamers on YouTube. Honestly, I don't know how you find YouTube streamers. The only reason I know Vorsh, for example, is a YouTube streamer, or... No, Riley Grace Strong streams on Twitch. Who else is it? There's only a few people that I know are YouTube streamers, and the only way that I've found out they're YouTube streamers is after I've subbed to them for their videos. Right? You know? Okay, my stream is on the front page of poll right now. Pretty nasty stuff. Chat is a mess today. Just a warning. Without a trans tag, this happened. Yeah. And, you know, I'll just show it for you. This is Demon Mama. 43% T slur, F slur is talking about starting a revolution while being a fat lard and calling people chuds. They're doing call-ins on their Discord. Yeah. Where's the... Look at that. Would you look at that? Abuse happening without the trans tag. It doesn't matter either way. It's such an absurd. What's worse, Twitch or JK Rowling?
I see you've brought.
Rooster, thank you for the raid.
Welcome.
Not raid.
Friends.
I'm not doing a raid. I went to type /raid then. Thanks for that. Oh my god. Hang on. YouTube does suck ass.
The Rogue Room appreciates your recommendation.
Doesn't get all of the... Oh my god, I keep typing /raid. Oh my god. Hang on a second. This is Fox's suggested poll. Whatever. Anyways, there you go. What's worse, Twitch or JK Rowling? You all seem to agree that Twitch is a TERF. You all seem to agree that Twitch is a TERF. That's the wrong button. Here's some more raid hype. Let's keep the raid train going. So you were playing Elite Dangerous. How'd you go? And Draco, thank you for the host. Top comment has a point. They, them instead of he, him. Oh my god, that's fucking amazing. Look, yes, look. Okay, sorry to bring up the naughty words on the screen again. They're doing call-ins on their Discord. They use they, them instead of he, him fucking progress. Oh my god. That's incredible. People need to not overuse TERF. Save it for TERFs, just say transphobe. True. There is a difference. We do need to make the... Yeah, JKR is definitely worse. We do need to make the distinction, I think, between TERFs and transphobes, most certainly. Because a TERF is someone who claims themselves to be a feminist, specifically. They claim themselves to be somebody who is, by and large, fighting for the rights of biological women and girls, is their angle. And they are the ones chasing legislative policy in that specific avenue of things. Transphobes are people who are just outright hateful towards transgender people. You know, they're still fucksticks, but yes, exactly. Had a drunken rant about how Twitch isn't giving the trans community a tag. Yeah. In the name of defending women. Thank you for giving a heck, by the way, Bahama Mama. Exactly. In the name of defending women. It's like, okay, I'm just going to put this out there. If your feminism is predicated on the idea of excluding a certain group of women, then it's not feminism, is it? Anyway. Uss. Hang on. Got to get my frilly shit out of the way. There you go. Got to get the biceps. Pride in the name of love. I don't know what that sounds like. At any rate, where were we? Yeah, so /me is gone. It's been ruined. It's been ruined. Thank you for the posture check. You'd educate a transphobe, you wouldn't fuck a TERF. I mean, yeah. We were going to talk about the crude. Yeah, crude. We were going to talk about the on the subject of TERFs. We might as well continue with the TERFs thing. Go on to the TERFs thing. Because, I mean, I don't think... It's hard to say that the Twitch thing not putting in the trans tag... No, it's not vodka. It's water in a vodka bottle. It's hard to say the not implementing a trans tag thing isn't transphobic. But... I don't know. I don't know where I sit on that. It's very tricky. You know, because it is, but it's framed in such a way that it's not. No, Ray, thank you for the raid.
Friends.
Thank you for the raid. How you doing? What's going on? Let's get the raid. Yeah, pro streamer who does, you know, like alternate camera angles and stuff for some reason. More raid lighting, because why not? What were you chatting about in Just Chatting, Rain? How'd you go? Ah, thank you, Crab. Anywho, shall we? Well, yeah, I'm just looking at like these responses. Here we go. Let's continue with this a little bit longer, and then I'll stop because I'm just angry. I understand the Twitch support account doesn't have control over the changes made, but I hope Twitch recognizes the community who was told they would be heard has been incredibly vocal about wanting identity tags and further accessibility features. Why was this prioritized? I also understand they're two completely different areas of UX, so I'd like to add allowing customizable options for a streamer's preference, i.e. italic, bold, color, underline would be the ideal way to roll this out. Yeah, exactly. All they would have had to have done is implement this particular functionality with regards to the /me thing, and I think everybody would be happy. But no, again, when they implemented tags, they removed communities, which, yeah, Rain, great minds. They used to have communities which you'd go into, and they were essentially their own category. You'd go in there and you would find a bunch of streamers who were streaming into that community, and it was basically tags, and I think anybody could make them, or you had to do something minor to create one. You know, essentially, once tags came along, they removed communities entirely when the two features could have existed coinciding with one another. There is no reason they needed to get rid of communities, other than they just wanted to change something for the sake of fucking changing it.
Welcome to the compound.
What? Why was that alert done up like that? What? Thank you for what sub that was. Was that... What was that? What was that? Hold up a minute. That wasn't like a Twitch sub. That was something else. Was that Patreon? Yeah, I miss the old communities too. I think they were a good idea, good implementation. Like you could go on to a certain community if you were looking. It would have essentially almost been like stream teams are now, sort of. You know, you can find certain stream teams. For example, there's a bunch of, say, women streamers stream teams. You go on there if you're looking for female streamers who are like esports teams or whatever, or there are streams that are dedicated to a certain kind of content that they create. And if you go to those teams, you'll find that kind of group of people, but some teams can just be whatever. Whereas communities were largely, essentially tags. Yes, they were essentially tags. Chessa, there's another raid.
Welcome, friends.
Why is everyone raiding me tonight? Thank you. More raid hype colors. Le raid. Okay, I need to find out what that alert was. I don't know what that alert was. Pledges? No? I don't... What happened? What happened? I don't know what that was. It's not in my event list. What was that? Somebody tell me what that was. Oh. It's YouTube! For some reason. Okay, okay, we figured it out. It was YouTube. I guess Streamlabs is still connected to my YouTube, and now it's sending me notifications that someone has subscribed on my YouTube channel. That was so confusing. I don't stream on YouTube. I put videos up on YouTube, which are usually stream highlights. Anyway, there's Soviet wave music apparently. I've heard there's Soviet wave. Gotta plug your headset in. Plugged into a different PC. Sounds good. Oh, that was confusing. Anyways. Just popped in to say hi and remind everyone that you exist. I hope you feel better soon, Kez. Have a good one. Let us have a certain number of predetermined tags and maybe like 1 or 2 custom tags we could use. I mean, I like the fact that we can have 5 tags that we choose now. I feel like we could do with having communities back. We could do with having communities back. And we could do with Twitch adding the fucking trans tag. Because communities didn't need to go anywhere. Communities didn't affect anything in any negative fashion. I mean, as far as I can tell, and you know, there's now sites like peer-to-peer.live, like we've mentioned this place a few times in the past, where if you go to peer-to-peer.live, it essentially fills in the role of identity tags on Twitch. So if you are looking for someone of a certain, like, you know, neurodivergence, trans non-binary, race and ethnicity, what else is there? Accessibility provided, all these kinds of things. Essentially, they've given you tags that Twitch has not added. So if you want to use peer-to-peer.live to find streamers of these different kinds of groups, then that's the site to go to. And it's just like, I think it tends to cycle through a bunch of streamers, and then you can click onto their streams from there. Anyway, yeah, that's a thing. And Detroit, there you go. Thank you for getting lip gloss on my finger, by the way. So lucky you found this stream. I'm so lucky that you appreciate what I have to say. Thank you. Got accepted into the peer-to-peer directory a while back. It's a fairly easy process. Yeah. I have a feeling they vet you, but you know, it's not like it'd be a crazy thing to get into. But yeah, this whole /me thing has just got me I'm not legitimately angry. I'm not legitimately furious. I hope you realize I'm putting it on. I'm just annoyed that they do this again. My nail polish is just black. I should change it to something a little bit lighter. I wanted to do like a very pastel pink on all my fingernails recently. I might do that soon. Yeah, let's do an outfit model because I like this dress. Although I don't want to risk dark cherry and purple. That'd be good. Let's have a look at the dress, shall we? Shall we? Look at this thing. It's glorious. I haven't actually worn this properly since I got it. It goes all the way down to my feet. Look, it's like a nightgown. That's great though. But yeah, I've seen people who've got like really cool gradient nails that I would love to try, but I don't know how you do it. I've done the trans flag nails before. That was fun, you know. But A, I have cheap nail polish, cheap as anything. And B, I don't know. I don't have the time and patience to learn how to do special nail art. Maybe I should try. That'd be an interesting thing for a stream, I think. Has a nice flow to it. Anyways. Yeah, the main reason that I, and I think a lot of other people are upset about this, this /me changes, again, you know, Twitch has so many other things they could be spending their time on. And this is an entirely unnecessary change. Let's just say, for example, right, you have the produce section of a supermarket right as you walk in. And it's always been that way. There's never been any reason to change it. Everybody's comfortable with it. And all of a sudden, they move the produce section to the opposite end of the store for no good reason. So now you come in, and it's the bakery section or whatever. And all the fresh produce is down the other end. And they had no reason to do that. They had no valid reason to do that. And yes, I'm aware, by the way, that supermarkets do shift their content around in the aisles and such on a semi-regular basis. They do move things around, but not to the extreme I'm putting out here right now. You know, there would be no reason for the supermarket to do that, and it would piss off all the customers who are now like, wait, where's all the vegetables? You know? But anyway, /me has got some valid applications with the colored text because I was using it for my bot. I was using it so whenever the bot said something, it would come up in a colored message that would stand out, you know? I have heard of like the scam donations thing, but it's not that big of a deal that they need to change this. You know? It's so fucking annoying when supermarkets just inexplicably reorganize. I know, I agree. I agree with that, yeah. But still, the point stands. It's an unnecessary change that serves nobody and doesn't make any significant benefit to the platform. It's just dumb. Yeah, and here's what Pixie said. Donated $5. Oh my god, such a big deal, Twitch. Here's what Pixie said. There are so many different things that are much more important than this, especially when it comes to minimizing potential for abuse. This is at the bottom of that list. Found that colored me tags were awesome for differentiating between bot and viewer messages. Again, I feel like a lot of people were doing this. You know, if they had a bot, they would have the bot's messages in colored so that it would show up differently to everybody else in chat. Legitimately cool function that everyone enjoys. Let's take it away. Serious problems on the platform that make people's experience on it full of toxicity and harassment. Pff, who needs that? I feel like Twitch is legitimately just trolling at this point. A little weird that you made this a priority when almost the entire trans community has been campaigning for a trans tag for 2 years. For 2 years. 2 years. For the trans tag. Two bloody years, mate. 2 of those. 2 of those 365-day periods. 2 years. They've been doing that whole thing. Anyways. I'm not in Melbourne. No. Hang on, is my camera the right angle? Hang on. Anyways. Where were we? Oh, and even like this, this. This may be interesting. I'll give that a look in a moment. This even adds on to this because I've seen this used as well. We use /me for rainbow raid and to make commands colorful. Exactly, you're just taking away a fun rainbow raid thing. I've seen people do that. I've seen people raid other streamers and they've got, you know, spamming the chat with multiple messages of different colors. And it looks really cool. It looks fun. And now it's just italics. Look at that. Click here to be taken directly to the Rogue Room Discord server. It looks boring. It looks boring now. I don't like it. The people who somehow kept falling for the whole /me donated money /bits thing, I just don't get it. Now we all suffer because of it. Oh, God. No, Twitch, you created an issue. This is what they do. Now turn it back. The overwhelming majority of people don't want this. Yeah, like, they create issues. They make problems. Twitch doesn't solve problems with their platform. They make problems for people like me to bitch about on stream and turn into YouTube videos. They didn't remove it. They just changed it. So now, /me shows up in italics and regular colored text instead of the previous way it was, which was colored text and not in italics. This looks so much fucking better. I don't know why they changed it. They don't have any justification for it. It's dumb. It's stupid. Reverse it. Anyway, we're done with that topic, I think. We'll call that there. Because it's been like half an hour on this thing. I did want to talk about this, though. I don't know if we did this before or not. I get the suspicion we might have done this. And this kind of is a segue, actually. This kind of segues into this with the scam donations thing. If you fall for the /me scam donos, you should either be not on the platform because you're too boomer or you're just new to the platform, which is fine. Yeah, exactly. I think everybody would fall for it originally. But, you know, the thing that triggered me, the thing that set the alarm bells off in my mind when someone first did it, it was like, well, and I mean, I think it was literally the first time someone tried it on me. I was like, well, I don't have any sort of donation thing set up, so I don't know how you would have donated to me. So, like, right off the bat, I was aware of it. Anyway, this is kind of similar, but not really. You know, it's a little bit, yeah, again, a segue. How am I supposed to do a charming prank now? Filthy pranks. Twitch just destroying pranks. But in the same way, you know, scam donors, trolls, and things like that. Internet trolls are narcissists, psychopaths, and sadists. They will lie, exaggerate, and offend to get a response. Let's talk about this, because we get trolls a lot. And you might notice, by and large, I've been avoiding certain questions in chat. I've been avoiding certain messages in chat recently, especially the transphobic stuff, because of this exact thing. This is from 2014. In this month's issue of Personality and Individual Differences, a study was published that confirms what we all suspected. Internet trolls are horrible people. Who'd thunk it? Anyways, imagine donating, though. Kind of simp move. Well, I mean, donating is specifically for charities. We should keep going back to the term tipping, but anyway. Let's start by getting our definition straight. An internet troll is someone who comes into a discussion and posts comments designed to upset or disrupt the conversation. Often, in fact, it seems like there is no real purpose behind their comments except to upset everyone involved. Trolls will lie, exaggerate, and offend to get a response. So basically anyone who voted for Donald Trump. What kind of person would do this? Some Canadian researchers decided to find out. Welcome to the Rogue Room, Glambert and the Rabbits, and Afflex. How you doing? Missed the times when troll wasn't just a synonym for bigot. Yeah, agreed. You're bisexual and can't tell your family because they are extremely homophobic. I am sorry to hear that, Aff. I don't like your family. I mean, I kind of agree there. I don't even know them, but yeah. Yeah, basically anyone who exists. What kind of person would do this? Oh, we said that bit. They conducted 2 online studies with over 1,200 people, giving personality tests to each subject along with a survey about their internet commenting behavior. They were looking for evidence that linked trolling with the dark tetrad of personality traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and sadism. They found that dark tetrad scores were highest among people who said trolling was their favorite internet activity. I've met people who are like this. I've met people IRL who've said they love going on to like places on Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, wherever, and just, you know, they've got a throwaway account or whatever, and they'll just go and troll people, trying to get a response, trying to get a rise out of them. And it's, I don't know, it's kind of annoying how normal these people are. I've met quite a few of these people who just do not strike you as anything out of the ordinary. You know, we like to play on the stereotype that they're a bunch of basement-dwelling losers who have nothing going for them, because that makes us feel better about it. You know, but, you know, most of the people I've met who actively say, oh yeah, I love internet trolling, I love trolling online. Of course, they don't generally specify what they mean. So, what they might see as trolling might not be as extreme as what we perceive as trolling, you know? But, you know, the whole idea of getting a reaction out of somebody, just going out of your way to piss somebody off is, well, as this clearly says, a sign of psychopathy, or sociopathy. Anyway, to get an idea of how prevalent these traits were among internet trolls, one can refer to tables from the paper showing low dark tetrad scores for everyone in the study except the trolls. Their scores for all 4 traits soar on the chart. The relationship between trolling and the dark tetrad is so significant that the authors write in the paper, the associations between sadism and GAIT, Global Assessment of Internet Trolling. Why is that a scientific thing? Global Assessment of Internet Trolling? Scores were so strong that it might be said that online trolls are prototypical everyday sadists. There's a good Good idea. Good bit of terminology to use. Trolls truly enjoy making you feel bad. To quote the authors once more, because this is a truly quotable article, both trolls and sadists feel sadistic glee at the distress of others. Sadists just want to have fun, and the internet is their playground. The next time you encounter a troll online, remember these trolls are some truly difficult people. It is your suffering that brings them pleasure, so the best thing you can do is to ignore them. There's I feel like this study is fake. Based on what though? We could probably find a study was published. Here we go. Sign in via your institution. We're going on to Elsevier. No! I didn't forget my password. Fuck off. I'm a university student, so I can look at scientific journals. You are currently being redirected. Here we go. How do we check if this is... Oh god, it's got my name up there. Overall, is there a way to check if this is... What's it called? I'm just looking at this. I don't want to open the page because it's got my name on it. I don't want to show the page on screen. Is there a way to check if a study like this is peer-reviewed? That's what I'm looking for. How do I check if something is peer-reviewed? Because that's always a good thing. Citation indexes. It looks pretty in-depth. And that's the thing about science, though, is it is needed, you know, to study the internet, because the internet is a thing that is such a prominent part of our society. You could argue this is a sociological study. I would argue. Oh, well, I suppose it's psychology. It's psychological. But parts of it could factor into sociology. It's called Personality and Individual Differences in... Now, let me think. What journal is it published in? Where is the journal listed? Part of... It's in Elsevier. Actually, here's the link to it. I could just do that, can't I? Yeah, here we go. I'll just read it out to you. I mean, I can scroll down and my name doesn't show up. So I think it's the Dark Triad of Personality is the journal. In 2 online studies, total 1,215, respondents completed personality inventories and a survey of their internet commenting styles. Overall, strong positive associations emerged among online commenting frequency, trolling enjoyment, and troll identity, pointing to a common construct underlying the measures. Both studies revealed similar patterns of relations between trolling and the dark tetrad of personality. Trolling correlated positively with sadism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism, using both enjoyment ratings and identity scores. Of all personality measures, sadism showed the most robust associations with trolling, and importantly, the relationship was specific to trolling behavior. Enjoyment of other online activities such as chatting and debating was unrelated to sadism. Thus, cyber-trolling appears to be an internet manifestation of everyday sadism. Yes, indeed, ambitious, actually. Yeah, there are psychopaths and sociopaths who aren't assholes, and it can definitely be legit, but the mental health field is still biased towards certain conditions, especially low empathy ones. Certainly, yes. And there's a whole thing here. I've posted the link in chat if you folks want to read it. But really, isn't everything we do on the internet because we're bored at the end of the day? It's the way I see it. You know. What's the most interesting trolling experience you've had online? With someone else trolling you? There's a question I wanted to ask. But yeah, more than likely people who are bored, but you know, you can still diagnose them as having certain traits. Botwick, I hate the fact that your messages are now showing up in italics. I hate it so dang much. I hate it. I loathe it. It's ruining my night. How dare you? How dare you, Twitch? You've ruined everything. Ah, my goodness. It really is awful. It's atrocious. It is atrocious. I've had... I mean, I feel like all of my troll stories now are boring. And Bitches, thank you so kindly for the 15 bits. You lovely person, you. I feel like all of my trolling experience online has been... not me trolling, of course, but... all of the experiences I've had lately have all just been transphobes, and it's like, that's kind of boring to go on that tangent. We'll go into terfs in a minute. We'll talk about Maya Forstater and all this kind of nonsense. There is an article on Pink News talking about her, and she's doing something at the moment, but I can't find any actual current news articles on whatever's going on. Yeah, you can still change your name color. That hasn't gone away. Which is, you know, don't give them ideas. They'll change that too. Wind up getting your first organic follow from some right-winger who hated everything you had to say. I mean, at least it's a follower. It's something. Imagine finding an entertaining transphobe. That's the thing though. It's like the way we define what's entertaining is entirely subjective, right? So, and regrettably, what that leads to is people finding transphobes entertaining. And there was a good point actually. Let me see if I can find it. What was his name? There was a good thing that I found before about a bloke, a fella. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. James Acosta. Xander Jazz, how you going? Here's on the subject of finding things entertaining. This is... I'm not familiar with who James Acosta is or what he does, but this take is fucking based. You talk about how based this take is? It seems like the special is questioning what material is actually challenging and what comedians use their free speech for. This is explicitly the case with the joke about Ricky Gervais type. So this person is interviewing James Acosta about their special that they've just done. Comedy special. At the time when I was writing it, I felt that a lot of people felt the same way I did. I thought I was doing an observational bit and just pointing out the inherent ridiculousness of comics who say, oh, I'm too challenging, and I'm challenging the status quo by saying this. The status quo is what you just said. It's small-mindedness and bigotry and stereotyping of minorities and marginalized groups. That has been the status quo for centuries. And what you are doing is you are talking like people have talked your entire life. When you were a baby, people had this point of view, and the point of view that you're challenging is the progressive one that is actually challenging you. And you don't like being challenged. You're doing this routine. These people also say, I'm just trying to start a conversation. I'm just having a debate. It's like, yeah, and this person is responding to you and you're trying to shut it down by saying, I'm just trying to have a conversation. You're not responding to them, so you don't know how conversations work. You don't know how debates work. All you want to do is say a very old-fashioned point of view and no one can challenge it. Everything that you're saying about wanting to challenge people, wanting to have a conversation, free speech being important, it's bullshit because all of your actions are the opposite of it. So therefore, this is ripe for comedy because what you are doing is ridiculous. It's funny to do a routine about this. And then I think it gets into stuff that's a little bit less related to that conversation. However, I think that's status quo or a shit band too. Are you able to see a list of who is viewing you? You are able to, but I don't check it. Oh yeah, it's in the top right corner, but I don't check that. But yeah, there's that, that point there that was just made. It's one of those things where it's like I always had that viewpoint on those particular kinds of comics, but hadn't had the words. So I'm gonna keep James Acosta's words in mind there. If that kind of topic ever comes up again, people basically making comments on your buzz cut since, God forbid, a femme person has a buzz cut or a shaved head. I know, right? Where was the interview? Good question. Hang on. I think somebody actually did link it. Here we go. Did somebody link it? Yeah, here we go. Here we go. This is the Vulture article. Here you go. James Acosta never wants to make an audience member cry again. Look at that microphone. That's banging microphone, dude. Earlier this year, someone tweeted a clip with the caption, James Acosta calling out transphobic comedians for 2 minutes straight. Here we go. Let's have a look at this. I want to see this. I want to see this video. Let's have a look. Let's have a gander. I want to see this. It just literally sounds like Isaac Butterfield's whole thing. This is literally what he does. This is literally what he's... I mean, Ricky Gervais does it as well, but... this is quite frankly exactly what Isaac Butterfield does, and his stand-up is fucking... Okay, there we go. That gives a bit more context to that particular piece, that particular bit of the article there. Briefly had 69 viewers. I've noticed that. Yeah, that was good. That was a good bit. And yeah, like it really speaks to that idea of that a lot of these comedians, not a bad bit at all. Isaac Butterfield is an alleged comedian in the same way Adolf Hitler was an alleged progressive. Yeah, I love the way the right wing love to say that Hitler was a liberal or something, or left winger or what have you. This is the first I've actually ever heard of him, and that's it's a good first impression. Honestly, it's a good first impression. So, the whole thing about the status quo. And it honestly surprises me looking back now, like how many comedians have done the same thing, and you just kind of go with it. You just kind of expect it a lot of the time, I think. Or a lot of people do just expect it. A lot of people just do go along with it. Maybe that's just a subject. Maybe that's just a facet of my upbringing, you know? There were certain jokes that a lot of people just... It's more of a... let me think what I was going to say. There's a certain point of comedy, like we've mentioned before, that a lot of people... Comedy is... realistically, the idea about comedy is if you can make a room laugh, then you're doing good comedy, right? And there are a lot of people, I think... unfortunately, there are certain people in my family who will make jokes that are flagrantly racist, and the response to the racist jokes is people laughing at it in the room because you can't say that. Oh, that's naughty. You know, you can't make those kinds of jokes. Can you imagine if a person of color was in the room? That's the response, right? And when you put someone up on stage and they're making a joke about race, and they're stereotyping and all of this kind of stuff, and the audience laughs at it, that is the response they're having. Some of the people in the audience most likely genuinely do agree with what the comic is saying, but a lot of the people in the audience are going, oh my god, how is he allowed to say that? And they giggle because they don't know how else to respond. It's an awkward laugh. It's not a laugh where it's like, oh yes, I actively endorse this viewpoint. You know. His tactics killed millions of Nazis. There are a few generals who didn't like Adolf's ideology. I'm not getting into the ideology of the Nazis right now. We did Nazis the other night. We did the aesthetic of the Nazi uniform. I'm done with that topic for a while. I'm done with Nazis for a while, friendos. Okay? Bad Bunny just got banned because she believes she was brigaded by Nazis. And I fully believe that could have happened. Don't put me in that boat. Don't put me in that boat. Don't put me in that boat. You reckon this is a good show? You mean James Acaster's show or my show? Because now I want to check out the rest of that special. It was actually quite funny. I've heard better material, but that was certainly something that's inspired me to check him out a bit, especially knowing his stance on that kind of thing. You reckon this is a good shit? That doesn't explain anything. Do you mean this or that? Anyway, if you're going to make a racist joke or edgy, make it clear it is a joke. That's one of the major things too. There are a lot of people who will make the racist jokes. And they'll be the kind of racist jokes that target someone because of their race. But the way that they tend to get around it, I've noticed, any of these particularly outwardly racist kind of comics, is they will make a whole bunch of racist jokes towards, Muslims or Black Americans, Asians, whatever, and then they'll throw in a joke towards white people to even it out, because it's always white comedians that do this shit, so they have some kind of plausible deniability. It's like, oh yeah, I make fun of everybody, but that's not really how that works.
Thank you for your
Xana Jazz, thank you for the sub.
Please enjoy all the delights of the subscriber lounge.
Fucking legend. Can't delete your own messages, really? Apparently not. No, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can. Let me try. Can I delete my own message? No, I can't. That's weird. You can't delete your own messages. Anyways. That's strange. Here's the thing. If you have friends of a certain race, and like if you've got a multicultural group of friends, if you've got a multi-ethnic group of friends, and you're all okay ripping on each other, that's fine. It's the moment you take it on stage and on tour and you start spreading those kind of viewpoints to a massive audience. Brother Guy, welcome to the Rogue Room. How you doing? That is the problem. That's where it becomes an issue. So if you've got a small group of friends and you're all happy making edgy jokes to each other and ripping on each other, that's totally okay. But the moment it becomes a thing that you're spreading to a wide audience, that's where the problems come in. Lady Arian, welcome to the Rogue Room. Excuse me. Anywho. That's why you don't get it when people try to cancel YouTubers being edgy to each other. Me, Trey, thank you for the 100 bits. Legend? What a legend. People clearly enjoy it more often than not. People take the piss out of themselves. Have friends who race 100 meters. You love the outfit. Thank you, widower. Being in the spotlight makes it easy to be cancelled. Yeah, and the majority of people who get cancelled are perfectly fine, you know. The thing is, the people who spout the cancel culture notion, what they tend to do is act as though, you know, oh, a bunch of people on Twitter ganged up on me because I said a thing that I didn't like. What was I saying? Like, what's an example? I don't know. Somebody says something. Somebody makes a joke on Twitter, and all of Twitter gets pissed off at it. And, you know, if it's a famous person, they can respond to it. They can come back from it. And the argument that the people who are always defending the idea of cancel culture use is, oh, this can happen to any layman. And, you know, so like if, say, for example, you know, a famous person makes an edgy joke versus a non-famous person makes an edgy joke, the idea they're trying to sell you is that, you know, this small nobody in some bumfuck town in rural USA makes an edgy joke on Twitter that's the same as if a famous person says it, but the bumfuck nobody's tweet blows up and everybody's shitting on him. That's where the fear should lie. But the problem is that does happen, but seldom. And the majority of people who claim they're being cancelled and silenced and all this are famous people who can come back from it, who can respond to it, and they're going to be fine. The only times I've seen people truly, genuinely cancelled is when they've been accused of mass amounts of sexual harassment, sexual assault, rape, and all of these kinds of things. And then everyone seems to unanimously ditch them. I think Onision's a good example, who's still somehow around on the internet, but has largely fallen by the wayside. Hearthstone pillow. I like my Hearthstone pillow. It's good, isn't it? My room is cozy. It's very cozy. And my nails are a mood, aren't they? I need to get little talons, little claws. I need to get some fake sharp nails. You know. May you share a shower thought. Go ahead. Yeah, jokes like, yeah, the smaller brains thing. If a joke is confusable for actual racism, then the joke probably isn't funny. Cozy outfit, cozy vibes, exactly. When you make race jokes, you really got to nail it or you look like garbage. Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, I don't generally abide race jokes, but simply because, you know, I've seen far too many white people who have got a ton of privilege, who are, you know, making jokes about a person for their race. And it's like, there's no reason to do that kind of shit. You know, you've already got all the power in the society in which you live, pretty much. You've got one of the most important privileges is the color of your skin, and you're making fun of other people who do not have that privilege, you know? Anyways, since Biden beat Trump, should we change the saying to insert thing here was Biden? Does that work? I don't know, does that work? Anyways. Oh, the bot got the second one. I don't know how it did that. How did it do that? Okay, whatever. I don't care. Got enough chicken tendies in there. Anyways, shall we move on to something? Oh, actually, on a similar note, let's stick with this topic of like the cancel culture thing, sort of. This is like this comes back around to the excuse me. This comes back around to the privilege thing that I mentioned a second ago. This CEO was fired after harassing a gay teen for wearing a dress to prom. Sam Johnson, the now former CEO of Visuel, told the student that his outfit was stupid and said he looked like an idiot. As the old saying goes, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, stop playing your video, please. It's not only good manners, you could lose your job. And this will come up again in tonight's stream. Sam Johnson, the CEO of Visuel, a Tennessee telehealth company, was terminated from his position this week after a viral TikTok video appeared to show the 46-year-old harassing a gay teen who wore a dress to his prom on Saturday. In the brief clip, Johnson tells Franklin High School student Dalton Stevens that he looks like an idiot after the senior decided to wear a floor-length red gown for the occasion. What a fucking legend, for the record. Wearing a floor-length red gown to prom. What a fucking legend. Okay? Oh no, a bigot CEO got fired for being a bigot. And it's like, 18-year-old student, 46-year-old CEO. Like, mate, you're a 46-year-old businessman. Why are you harassing a literal child?
Welcome.
Fragile.
Friends.
Thank you for bringing your friends to the Rogue Room. How's it going? How'd your stream go? Tell us all about it. Please tell us all about it. Hold on a moment while I put on our raid colors. What's going on? He's brave. Oh, you mean the kid wearing the red dress? Absolutely. 46 but looking 60. How'd your stream go? Tell us all about it. What'd you get up to? Did I read correctly you were playing something? I saw your live tweet earlier, I think. I forgot what you said you were going to play. But it looked... I think it was a game I enjoy. I don't know. Tell me. Hello, Philscape. How's it going? Yeah, absolute shithead, this person. This guy we're talking about at the moment. It's raining in the west tonight. Why was he even at the prom? I imagine he's probably the parent of one of the kids that's there. So yeah, I think that's probably what it is. A spirit animal. Wait, what? Or at least a spirit animal named after him. Beers and Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, I can imagine that. I mean, Crash Bandicoot is surprisingly difficult. I went back and I tried. Are you playing the new one, or are you playing the the remaster, the remake, or are you playing Crash 4, or are you playing like the original without the remake sort of deal? Because I actually did that not fairly recently. When the remake was fresh, I was at a friend's place and they had an emulator of the original Crash. So I'd played a bit of the remake and I'd played a bit of the original in a short space of time. So it was easy to compare the two. And it's a very good remake, honestly. Anyway, I should get around to actually playing it properly. I was running at the screen levels. Oh, fuck those. And yeah, the rope bridge. I hate that level so much. Oh my god, I hate it so much. I can't imagine being one of the people who does no death runs of Crash Bandicoot. You know, ridiculous. Crash stream, I could try. Yeah, the CEO is weird. Let's go back to the CEO for a minute. While audio of the exchange is often difficult to make out, Stevens later alleged that Johnson also called him stupid and said he shouldn't be wearing a dress if he has hair on his chest. In an interview with NBC News, the 18-year-old student responded by telling Johnson, "I think I look good in it and that I really like the dress and I want to show that clothing is genderless." And I explained that to him, and he continued to just call me names and just follow me. Why would... 46-year-old man! Following a teenager around? God, dude, mate. Deranged. This person is deranged. What was I gonna say? I want to come back to something earlier in this. This is fucking creepy. Yeah, you're a CEO. Make some shitty clothes. Spyro and Crash have vibes. I love Spyro and Crash. I really should get the Spyro and Crash remakes. I just haven't done it for some reason. I've played them because my mother or my sister, hard to tell which, because they both live in the same house. It's one PS4. They've got them. I've played them. I just haven't played them to completion over here. I got Medieval. I got the Medieval remake. For what that's worth, I have the Medieval remake. I haven't played it though. My kids have. Anyways, the war of words got physical when Steven's boyfriend Jacob Geitman started recording the apparent harassment. On the video, Johnson attempts to slap Geitman's phone out of his hand. That's always a sign of a balanced individual. Although a group of adults can be heard off camera begging Johnson to stop bothering the couple, the students were unfazed. "I'm sorry, I'm gorgeous," Stevens shot back. Oh fuck. What a legend. When Johnson asked, "Are you?" with a smirk, the senior stood his ground. Yes, gorgeous. Oh my god, can we stan this kid? Can we fucking stand this kid, Stevens? What's his name? Dalton Stevens. Can we stand Dalton Stevens? Look at this. Look at this absolute legend here. Not this wanker. Look at it. Look at his dumb CEO haircut. Dumb CEOs. The incident is reported to have taken place at Harpeth Hotel in the Nashville suburb of Franklin after Stevens and a group of friends attempted to snap selfies prior to the school dance. According to the local newspaper, the Tennessean, Johnson denied the encounter when police called to the scene after the hotel reported an unwanted person on the property. It gets worse for this dude. Local froggy friend, welcome to the rec room. Love for this kid. No charges appear to have been filed against Johnson as the students had left by the time law enforcement arrived. But when footage of the incident went viral, justice was served in a different form. Johnson was swiftly dismissed by Visuel, which said the behavior captured on tape was not representative of our values, which include respect and compassion for all. Fucking awesome. It's a shame there's no, like, good photos of the kid in the dress, because, like, I want to see this whole dress. I want to see the whole fit. CEO haircut, business in the front, bigotry in the back. Johnson got the Johnson. There you go. Welcome back, Phage. Told the barber to hit me with a Richard Spencer. Well, there you go. Oh, that's some good shit. That is some good shit. Google him. Google this guy. Or Dalton Stevens. Oh, hang on. Okay. Do we get to see the dress? Oh my god, we do. Oh, we do, though. Okie dokie. Look at the... Oh my god. Can we get a round of applause for that fit? Holy shit, dude. That is... Oh my god. That is stunning. Dress is pog or very pog? Yes, queen. Hang on, I can't select the text for the poll. Hold on. Stop talking for a second, you losers. No, I'm joking. I love you all. There we go. It do slap. It do be slapping. That is a hell of a dress. That see, this is how you, like, what's the guy's name? Somebody tell me what the guy's name is from One Direction. Who's the guy from One Direction? What did the dress? Yeah, it is the Poggest. Somebody give me his name. Harry Styles. Harry Styles, this is how you do a dress, mate. This is how you do a dress, mate. Not that bullshit you were wearing. The Harry Styles dress was atrocious. A bold move on his part, but an atrocious choice of apparel. Truly bad. Yes, he's 18. This CEO guy here was fired for harassing an 18-year-old. 46-year-old CEO, former CEO. Look at this dumb grin on his face. Look at this stupid smirk on his face, like he's doing something that's really worth... this comes back to the trolls thing. He's getting off on this. Like, this is the kind of dude who really... He just wants the reaction. And it's... Like, please, man, you're a CEO. Surely you have hobbies. Go sit on your yacht or something, you fuckwit. Anyway. Is he Australian? No, I don't think so. No, this is in Nashville, or near Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah, that's the smile of someone who thinks he's funny and is doing a good thing somehow. Yeah, exactly. Go sit on your yacht. Hello, Kiara, how's it going? I hate people like that, man. And I've met people like that. I hate the fact that I've met people who do that very fucking thing. They would look at somebody who is even the slightest bit gender non-conforming. Sorry, I'm like protective of my nipples at the moment, so I'm holding my shirt on. Dress very pog. In Tennessee, wow, that's a very bigoted state, so I'm glad he's able to be out and proud and supported. Yeah. It's good to see that the kid has actually got friends that will support him actively and protect him. But yeah, I just love the snapbacks from the article. That was great. Anyway. Yeah, go sit in your fucking millions and cry like a wanker. Exactly. Fuck him. Absolutely fuck him. Oh, excuse me. Don't want to fuck a yacht. A dragon fucks a car. What? I beg pardon? So, yeah. I don't know. His boyfriend supports him and he clearly has friends also responding to a bigot like a sassy queen. I hope he snapped his fingers. I hope he snapped his fingers. It's a shame that we couldn't be there to experience it, but it sounds like the old dude got fucking owned. Oh yeah, there is a subreddit for dragons fucking cars. I don't want to be reminded of it, though. Like... And yeah, he probably hires rent boys. I get the suspicion that a lot of people like him. And this is the difficult thing, right? Because you don't want to assume someone is gay or assume someone is trans, for example. You don't want to make that assertion of somebody else's identity, but at the same time, the amount of times we have seen a reprehensibly homophobic person be outed as a closet homosexual is, it's so routine at this point. Yeah, there's a subreddit for what? Not a lot of straight guys who cross-dress and wear dresses? Yeah, exactly. It's not a bad thing. And again, clothes are not gendered. They shouldn't be gendered. Just because someone wears a dress doesn't necessarily mean they are a woman. A man can wear a dress. You know, internalized bigotry, exactly. I tell you what. I tell you what, can we put Maya Forstater in the bin? Can we do that? Can I just like move on to Maya Forstater because I hate her guts? So sad that we live in a society where gay people turn to homophobia for acceptance. Yeah, exactly. I just like nice clothes, exactly. Put on the dress, Catboy. Put on the dress, Ridoid. But yeah, that's oh, where gay people turn to homophobia. Yeah, exactly. It reminds me of Blair White, you know. Blair White is being as transphobic as she possibly can to get the acceptance of Republicans. You know? Put on the dress, you fucking smug cunt. Abby does a shoe arc. Well, we've already had me telling Tucker Carlson to take off his pants, so we're getting there. You know, I just need to get the haircut, figure out my eyeliner, you know. Should we just unperson Blair White? Here's a little hope. Scottish Green Party reveals comprehensive plan to tackle resurgence of homophobia and transphobia. Fantastic. This is what we like to see. This is what we like to see. The Scottish Green Party's LGBT plus group Rainbow Greens has produced a comprehensive LGBT plus manifesto in the face of a homophobia and transphobia resurgence. The party has long been clear about its pro-LGBT plus rights stance, and co-leaders Patrick Harvey and Lorna Slater launched their leadership in 2019 with a renewed drive to get more NB folks into politics. How do we unperson Blair White? You gotta go, Mr. Sir. Have a good one. I'm gonna put my vodka over there. Is Tucker a Tucker? Harvey, who became the first ever openly bisexual MSP in 2003, told Pink News that Scotland and the UK as a whole has been experiencing a resurgence of homophobia and transphobia, the likes of which most of us can't remember, and that we are seeing our community's human rights under greater threat than in previous years. This, he said, means politicians need to be crystal clear about LGBT plus rights. I think it's important that political parties say very clearly where they stand, he said. Manifesto, here comes the trans domination. I think our community should be a lot less willing to tolerate the idea that our human rights are some kind of optional extra. I think we should be saying that homophobia and transphobia are as unacceptable in our politics as racism, misogyny, and sectarianism. As Scotland prepares for the 2021 Scottish Parliament election on 6th of May, the Rainbow Greens have laid out specific aims for LGBT plus rights in healthcare, education, law, sports, and COVID-19 recovery in a wide-ranging manifesto. Got to start your day, Detroit. Have a good one. Thank you so kindly for hanging out tonight. One of the areas where LGBT plus folk, especially trans and non-binary people, face the most significant barriers is health and social care. The Rainbow Greens say in their manifesto that their priorities in this area will include a ban on conversion therapy, fucking based, and unnecessary surgeries on intersex children, access to fertility services, equal blood donation policy, and enhanced mental health provision across all sectors for LGBT plus and intersex people by recognizing the increased risk of mental health problems among LGBT plus people. Okay, what else is there? And it gets into more specific stuff, I think. Should we keep going, or? You see, trans, you click stream. Hello, Lily. How's it going? How goes it? We're talking about the Scottish Greens Party being incredibly based. Let me think here. Where were we? How is everyone, by the way? Am I reading too quickly? Am I reading too fast? I feel like I'm reading too fast. Actually, that's specifically the reason that trans is in the title. It's just so if there are trans folks out there looking for a place to hang, or people who are allies, or people who are queer in any way, shape, or form, anyone who's looking for a trans stream can chill out here. And for God's sake, I really should wear a bra under this thing. I'm terrified of something slipping out. Okay. That's how you found the stream. Yeah, exactly. It's fantastic. What were we talking about? Elliot Page. Oh, yeah. We can talk about Elliot Page in a minute if you want. Reading speed is fine, but you're considered someone who reads too fast. Well, yeah. I think I do that. Unpersoning someone, kicking them out of your life. Well, there you go. There are certain people who I've certainly unpersoned in a broad sense. Anyways, welcome to the Rogue Room, Lily. Shall we continue? Trans and bisexual lighting, I know. I should try to figure out lesbian lighting, given, but, you know, this just has an aesthetic to it. Anyway, where were we? Fertility service. Yeah, here we go. The group promised to focus specifically on promoting an informed consent model for trans healthcare to replace the current gatekeeping model. This means that gender-affirming healthcare services would focus on the individual and their knowledge about their own bodies and needs rather than requiring them to prove their gender identity to healthcare professionals. It's really weird that that is still such a prominent thing amidst trans healthcare. Like, there are so many... I had a good go of it. I will continue to mention how easy it was for me to get on HRT because I went to the endocrinologist in our first appointment and we were immediately discussing informed consent. So I knew what I was getting into. I was well aware of the effects of the hormones that I would be going on, and very shortly after I had a prescription for testosterone blockers. So, you know, yeah, I'm going to brag a little bit. And that to me feels completely normal. That to me feels completely, normal, you know, because that's what I'm used to. But it's so bizarre to think that there are people in the UK and the US and more than likely other places in the world where they have to go through these obtuse, intrusive systems that are designed to ask you and prod you and really verify that you are trans before you can even get on any sort of treatment. You know, and I'm worried that that model is going to come to Australia at some point. I worry that with all the trans legislation going on across the world, that it is going to come to Australia at some point. I'm terrified of that. We're waiting like a month to get through to an endocrinologist. Is that normal in Oz? I'm not sure. I went to my general practitioner and I did have to contact an endocrinologist and sort an appointment out that was a few weeks after the fact. But I was pretty easily able to get the appointment. I just had to wait a little bit. Got a dip right here, broken. Have a good one. Remember, ban your local transphobe. Waited about 3 weeks. Don't have informed consent in Finland, so you've been waiting to get on hormones for 4 years. That's atrocious. That is atrocious. And that's not how it should be, because there's no valid reason people should be on waiting lists for this kind of stuff. It's not like you require... I mean, unless the waiting list is legitimately because the endocrinologists are so busy that they can't get to you, but I don't think that's the case, honestly. Not actually vodka, for the record. It's water. I am hydrating because my throat feels dry. I feel like I need to clarify that. Anyway. And yeah, here we go. This gets into this exactly. You know, I was just talking about all that, and if I kept reading the article, it says that. The Greens also said they would continue to push for gender identity clinic waiting times, which in most cases are years long, to fall in line with the 18-week NHS standard. In Glasgow, the waiting time for a first appointment at a gender identity clinic is 3 years. I'm still not 100% sure why that is laid out the way that it is, that it ends up being 3 years. Then it's another 1.5 years for a follow-up appointment. That's not even the waiting time for treatment. Don't think there's any other form of healthcare where we would accept that level of poor standards in the NHS. When it comes to LGBT plus rights in law, the Rainbow Greens said the Scottish Green Party would aim to secure the devolution of equalities, employment and immigration legislation to Scotland in order to fully implement protections for LGBT plus and intersex people in these areas. Aim to secure the devolution. Okay. I think that's supposed to be used in a positive manner. Legislation, maybe. I'm having trouble figuring out what they mean by that. Anyway. Also, the font has gone wildly crazy here. I don't know what's going on, but the text has changed. These protections would include a sweeping reform of the GRA, the Gender Recognition Act, implementing legal recognition of non-binary folk, and ensuring access to healthcare for trans kids, the decriminalization of sex work, and ending the humiliation of tests to prove LGBT plus identity for LGBT plus asylum seekers. In the sense that Scotland is having its own laws separate from UK laws. Oh, I see. Went to Gender GP to get HRT with informed consent. Don't know how long you would have to wait for the treatment of the NHS. It doesn't sound good. I do know what devolution means, kind of. But please enlighten me. Please remind me. I feel like I know the word, but the context it's being used in here is confusing me. I didn't get the referral to the endocrinologist until a month ago. Before that, it was 2 years of waiting and then 2 more of psychologists and shit asking me about every single thing that's happened in my life. Yeah. See, this is the thing. Like, I think the way I went about it was general practitioner, went to a psychologist, then I went to an endocrinologist, and the psychologist appointment was largely just confronting the fact that I'm trans and interacting with that idea. It wasn't really prodding and asking me a ton of questions and invading my personal space or anything like that. So whereas, what I'm hearing about stuff that's going on in the UK or stuff that the US is proposing or the ways they're trying to gatekeep people from receiving treatment is almost like conversion therapy. This is what it sounds like. It's bordering on conversion therapy by prodding people who are queer over and over again to get to verify their identity, basically, to justify it, which is really, really asinine. And it feels so backwards to someone who grew up in such a progressive household and surrounded by such progressive people my entire life. I always thought that things were much further along in terms of civil equalities than they actually are. I always had this perception in my head that the way that society treats queer people isn't wildly, outlandishly exclusionary. And now I'm in this particular position where I am informed of these issues, and I realize how bad it is. And, anyway, devolution is the act of separating states that make up a country by giving them local parliaments, for example, the Welsh Assembly or the Scottish Parliament. Okay. Here we go. Delivering for Scotland and the UK. What is devolution? Puts power closer to the citizen, so local factors are better recognised in decision making. Thanks to devolution, Scotland has 2 governments which are responsible for different areas. Devolution has not stood still. There have been major additions of new powers for the Scottish Parliament since 1999. This has included the Scottish Parliament becoming more accountable for the revenue it raises to spend on providing public services. There we go. That gives you an example. Devolved powers. Okay, this might enlighten us a bit. The table below shows matters which are devolved and reserved and what the Scottish Government and UK Government are each responsible for. Devolved matters, Scottish Government, agricultural, forestry and fisheries. Reserved matters, UK Government, macroeconomic and fiscal issues. Education and training for Scotland, foreign policy and international relations for the UK. Environment for Scotland, the Constitution for the UK. I think you get the point. There are largely certain things. Where were we? Housing. How would one get into learning about the policies around housing? How would one get into expanding their knowledge of housing issues? Particularly with regards to rent, landlords, buying houses, and things of that nature. What kind of things should I study? What kind of, texts should I open my mind to that would expand my knowledge in that department? Because I'm finding myself particularly not passionate, just really intrigued by the idea of learning about housing. The way that we, for example, treat people who are unemployed, underemployed, how we house people. All of that kind of stuff really interests me. Anyway, Dad went full homophobe seemingly out of nowhere during the gay marriage plebiscite. That is so upsetting, honestly. Ridiculous. And hang on. Literally why though? Why is my question? What is achieved by making our lives so difficult? It's the people who are trying to make the lives of queer folk more difficult need to have an other, need to have an enemy so that they can justify their own existence. And in a lot of ways, they will demonize us and make us the suspect of some wanton, fantastical crime, so they can further justify their hatred against us and say they're the victims. You know, these people don't know how to cooperate. They only know how to compete. And when they are in a state of competition, when they are in this mindset of I need to win, they're going to take every single advantage they can. And in this particular circumstance, they're targeting a minority group that they know they can, or they reasonably think they can win against. Fucking YouTube subscribers. I'm gonna need to change that. Fucking hell. Yeah, lowest hanging wind fruit, basically. They want a victory without the effort involved. You gotta run, Fragile. Thank you so kindly for the raid earlier. Appreciate me and my thoughts and experience. Thank you so much. Making trans people wait longer to prove themselves feels so weird because I spent so long in the closet. I was damn sure. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that I had, you know. And I feel extremely lucky that I live in Australia and I had the benefits that I had with regards to getting on treatment. In the sense that it's like, yeah, I am fucking certain. You know, I kept this from everybody for so long. It was like, yes, I am certain. Let's lock it in. You know, I feel like there should be no reason to justify drawing out somebody's, you know, process of transition into themselves. If they, you know, I can maybe understand the perspective of kids need a little bit more time to ruminate on the idea because they're kids. You know, children and teenagers and things like that. But I still think if a trans teen or a trans child is trans and they are certain, we should still respect that. And I certainly don't think that anyone should have their, like, again, we've mentioned before, puberty blockers are entirely reversible. So I don't think we should be restricting any kind of medical treatment from kids. Yeah, I just think that, you know, that whole idea is, yeah, people are still developing when they're young, of course. Psychologically. And I think, you know, if a kid is aware of the fact that they are trans, they probably have spent some time, especially in the age of information that we're in now, they've probably got access to the internet. They've probably looked this stuff up. Even children, as young as my children, my daughter, for example, would be able to look this stuff up if she needed to. You know, they make themselves aware. They learn this stuff. So even when it comes to kids, you can say, you know, verifiably, yes, they know, they're aware that, you know, the gender assigned to them at birth might not be correct. Find it to be an example of nobody but me knows the eye that looks out from my eyes. Yeah, exactly. No, I'm trans. I don't need a psychologist to tell me I am. Exactly, yes. And there's so much in the way of trying to science away the identity of trans people, if that makes sense. You know, there's so much of this idea of, well, the science suggests this. Meat Tray, thank you for the 100.
But these kids will get brainwashed. The QAnon GeoCities site told me.
I haven't thought about GeoCities in a minute. Thank you for the 100 bits, Meat Tray. Yeah, there's a heavy push towards this notion that the science is contradictory to the existence of transgender people. And this is a good point that Doe made recently on Twitter, is the idea that, what was it? The idea that we need to justify ourselves with psychology and biology and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, we need to justify the gender. We need to, you know, have some kind of definition. We need to broadly define what we are so that people can, you know, really believe it. And at the end of the day, like, to really validate our existence, we have to scientifically, unequivocally prove it. And at the end of the day, even if we didn't have those validations, we still exist. We are still valid. We do still have a place in the world. You can't just take that away because your justification doesn't line up with our reality. You know, that's not how this works. And this is the problem that's going on in the UK. Again, Maya Forstad's name is in the news. And I really wish she would just fall off a bridge into a shallow creek and sprain her hip. I'm not wishing that she'd die, I just wanted to be inconvenienced. You know? 3 to 6 weeks off work, laying on the couch unable to do much. Just moaning, going, my bloody hip hurts. You know, that's what I wish upon transphobes. Mild inconvenience. I want them I wish all transphobes a very all escalators stop working when you approach. Helps to find the right doctor. Yeah. Daughter is in middle school and her best friend has been transitioning with full support of his parents. They had to switch churches though because their church members refused to call him by his name. That's disgusting. Like, one of the core tenets of religion would be love thy neighbor. One of the, what is it? The 10 Commandments? Love thy neighbor? Or is that something else in the Bible? I don't know. And if somebody is a member of your church, they are your neighbor. That person becomes your neighbor. And to love them would be to respect their name. To respect the name that they have chosen for themselves. Final Destination, but it's all nuisances. I was going to say somebody should make that movie, but I guarantee you somebody already has. There's probably some movie that fits that description. I think like Alexander and the Very Bad Day or whatever it was called. The No Good Very Bad Day. Anyway, but yeah, it's astounding how, especially in religious sects, they will ostracize and other someone, which is not at all surprising. When their religious holy texts go out of their way to say, oh, hey, by the way, don't do that thing that you're doing all the time. Anyways, Final Destination, mildly infuriating. Looking into this recently, you couldn't find the thing you were looking for specifically, but found a ton of evidence that the brains of trans women developed to be exactly like a cis woman's. Same for trans men with cis men. The rest of the body might align with their identity, but the brain does. This is the thing, though. The brain science thing, I think, is a lot more convoluted than we give it credit for. Because, for example, excuse me, might not align. Yeah, I get what you mean, yeah. Let me think of an example here. Like, biologically speaking, our bodies are very, very similar between sexes. Welcome to the Rogue Room, Wicked Beta. How you doing? I mean, I'm not an expert on biology here, but biological sex is its own spectrum in the same way gender is its own spectrum, in the same way queerness is its own spectrum. It's not as defined as black and white as one side of the coin or the other. So when we say like the whole cis woman's or trans woman's brain, trans men, cis men's brain, we have to account for variances in those brains to begin with. Now, that being said, of course, I do believe there's probably some evidence to suggest that, yes, a trans woman's brain might develop like a cis woman's. But I'd need to see some more hardline science that would explain that in depth. I just know that a lot of people think biology is so set in stone. A lot of people think that biology is just, this is how it is. And which is whenever somebody tries to use the biological sex is biological gender argument, it flies flagrantly in the face of biology as a science to begin with. Keep in mind, every single science that has ever been, that ever will be, is a constantly evolving thing. Science, by its definition, is testing and practicing and changing the information to suit new information. But yeah, that is in its own way, you're right, Draco, it is evidence that someone who is trans is not simply pretending neurologically a woman, yeah. And yeah, most people haven't learned anything new since high school, yeah, exactly. Vagabond, have a good one. Biology bros can suck my... What's my favorite Hell's Kitchen contestant? Just Gordon Ramsay. Just the host. I haven't watched Hell's Kitchen. Alright, I'm a few minutes overdue. Have I ever heard of the half-life of knowledge? No, I have not. I feel like you're trolling me, Sammy. I'll be back in a minute. We'll take a 5-minute break. I haven't been running ad breaks again. Oh my god. I'm sorry to anybody who's come in and been hit with ads. I apologize. We're gonna run an ad break really quickly. We'll be right back. Don't go away, folks. I love your faces. Be kind to yourselves and each other, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. Still furious about the italics bullshit. That ain't going away. Also, the cat has now joined me in the rogue room. They ruined it. They nerfed it, they ruined it. Things will never be the same. Oh my god, I'm freezing, dude. I'm freezing. Peanut butter baby, welcome to the rogue room. Okie dokie. Hold up a sec while I put my socks back on. Meow. Watch the thing. What's the thing? Don't look down my dress. That's naughty. Hello. He is such a dunce. Okay, my cat is such a dunce. Can I state that for the record formally? Where is you? Come on, come here. Come on. What are you doing? Fuck. Sorry, I just bumped the microphone. Sorry, forgive me. Oh no! Crikey, sorry for punching the mic. Anyway, I didn't punch the mic, I just nudged the mic stand. Okay. Stay there, angry octopus. I cannot play, I'm not good at guitar. I really should practice. I really should get into practicing. One of these days, I'll do it. I'll commit to one day doing a guitar practicing stream, but the thing is I need to practice something that's royalty free. Power chords and tabs are all you need. I know that much. He miss. It is a bit pointless to have it and the other one, that's that little black thing there. Cat, seriously, go away. Stop being a rude asshole and biting me for no reason. Jesus. I have the sacred knowledge to begin. I have the power of the internet on my side. That should not say rogue coin, and they're called amethysts, but I haven't updated my Twitch stuff. Anyways, what have I missed? Nerf the terfs, agreed.
What's next?
What is this you've sent me, Vsauce? What is this Vsauce thing?
What's next? What's NXET? Spelling isn't the only thing we get wrong. The history of science is a graveyard of dead and abandoned ideas. Fritz Machlup coined the phrase half-life of knowledge, the amount of time it takes for half of the knowledge within a field to be superseded by new, better ideas or to simply be shown untrue. Donald Hebb famously estimated that the half-life of knowledge in psychology is just 5 years. Humans are awesome, don't get me wrong, but we tend to believe that what we currently think we know about the universe is reasonably correct, even though statistics aren't on our side. Previous generations incorrectly...
Okay, so, it's proof you're not trolling. Okay, I get the idea he's going for. I get the point. Will she mention italics in the next 60 minutes? You know I have all the power over that, right? But on that subject, Twitch is going to let the wider Twitch community vote for a trans tag or reverse the /me change. You think so? I don't think they'll do it. Appearing like a musician is almost as prestigious as being one. Also, what was the Tony Blair thing? Can I predict? Am I allowed to predict? Everyone's going yes. Who closes the submission? You like that picture? It's not bad.
Thought the exact same thing about what they used to think was true.
Oh, Blair is sporting a mullet.
My favorite examples of the ubiquity of mistakes are production errors in popular songs. They're like humbling Easter eggs just waiting to be found. For instance, Buffalo Springfield's for what it's worth.
26 seconds in, the B in the lyric Beware is clipped, as is the P in People at a minute 24. Once you hear the mistake, it's tough to unhear it. In Hey Jude, Paul McCartney misses a chord, and if you listen closely, you can clearly hear him say, "F***ing hell." Seriously, it's in the actual song. Go listen to it. In fact, there's an entire website that chronicles mistakes.
I can't do that though because it would probably get DMCA'd. Michael, Vsauce here. Hey Vsauce, Michael here. Anyways. Vsauce has 11.1 million total views. Oh, that's the video. I was going to say, surely Vsauce has got more than 11.1 million total channel views. No, that's just this video, which is called Mistkaez, and it's in the old speak. It's in the language of the old blood. Testing, testing. Please don't test that nonsense in my chat. I hate it. I hate it. Sporting a mullet. Okay, let me have a look. Oh, I see. I see. Yeah, that's a mullet. That is a look. That is certainly a look. Tony Blair channels late William Hartnell, sorry. That's he looks like a Bond villain. Is he a Bond villain? I don't know what Tony Blair's deal is. He's a UK politician, isn't he? He looks like your dad did. I want to be like early 90s Warnie. Hang on. Let's have a look. 90s Shane Warne. I mean, a bit. Actually, I think I saw this, NBSB. I think I saw this. Arlene Foster resigns as DUP leader after rebellion over conversion therapy vote. I saw this. I don't know who the fuck Arlene Foster is, but anyone who is pro-conversion therapy can get directly in the bin. You will get in the bin. Anyone who is pro-conversion therapy can get in the bin. Peanut butter, baby. Have a good one. Arlene Foster has resigned as leader of the Democratic Unionist Party after 3/4 of her elected representatives signed a letter of no confidence. Oof. Imagine operating as the leader of a political party and having that much of your party just vote to say, we don't trust this person as our leader, which ultimately is the way democracy works. But, you know, you would think going into a political party, your intention would be that everybody in that political party widely shares the same views, right? So you've got a group of people who are like, not an echo chamber, but a lot of people who share the same viewpoints on a lot of the same policies and things of that nature. And your entire party just goes, well, fuck this person in particular. Raiden from the original Mortal Kombat movie played by David Carradine. Oh my god, yes. Absolutely. I can see it. Wait, no, hang on. And that's not... He didn't play... Hang on a minute, no. Hang on. Let me just find something. That wasn't him. It wasn't David Carradine. Hang on. It was Christopher Lambert. That's right. It was Highlander Man what did Raiden in the first Mortal Kombat movie. Yeah, I guess they look kind of similar. But it was Christopher Lambert. Anyways. But that looks like Raiden if Raiden had been played by David Carradine. Oh, I see what you mean. I get it. Please watch in the next hour. What is this? Another one. A defense of Comic Sans. Is there a reason you've timestamped it there, or do you want me to watch the whole thing? Alright, let's hear what he's got to say. Okay, hang on. Let's see what he's got to say. I'm interested.
That's why it's called italics.
Oh, okay. Is that what you were going for?
Not because Hey, Vsauce, Michael.
Okay, let's watch this video because I want to hear what he has to say about fucking Comic Sans. What could you possibly say to defend Comic Sans?
Here. Text. The printed word. Vitally important, but never naked. When words and letters are printed, they have to wear the clothing of a typeface, a font family. We don't always think of it this way, but you cannot type without using a typeface. Even right now, here on YouTube, when you leave a comment, you are communicating your own words, your own thoughts, but through the visual stylings of someone else, the creator of Arial. In these Vsauce videos...
Can we get some Arial is okay in chat? Fuchsia Frog, welcome to the Rogue Room.
Jake, Kevin, myself, and others use Alcina because it most closely resembles the handwriting of Nick Junta, the creator of the Vsauce logo. Now, thinking of typefaces as fashion for letters is not a new idea. Adrian Frutiger famously said that the work of a type designer is just like the work of a dressmaker.
Arial is okay. Yeah, I think Comic Sans actually is easier to read for people who have difficulty reading, including dyslexic people. Yeah, Arial is okay. It's time for New Roman. I am an absolute Times New Roman stan to the end of my life. Times New Roman.
Or, as Alan Fletcher put it, a typeface is an alphabet in a straitjacket. Some typefaces have serifs and some don't. Some are famously neutral, while others are silly or ugly. But one...
God, I hate Papyrus. I loathe Papyrus.
Typeface is so silly.
Why is he so blurry? How old is this video? It's from 2013.
And so ugly, and so popular, that it has arguably become the most hated font of all time. Comic Sans.
Comic Sans! There was a comic that had, Comic Sans. Where that was the response someone had to the text for some reason. Yeah, 2013 camera. This is an old video. Clever Cottontail, welcome to the Rogue Room. Nice, cool people here. Yes, they are, Sabs. How you doing?
Consider themselves discerning designers, scoff at its ubiquity, usually...
Oh, it's amazing.
wielded by amateurs who don't know better. It was recently reported that on Twitter, the only thing complained about more often than Justin Bieber, but less frequently than airlines, is Comic Sans. Online, you can play a Kill Comic Sans game. And the website Ban Comic Sans provides a gigantic list of handwritten looking fonts that they would prefer you use instead. Comic Sans is so hated, it's almost pulled a 360 and is cool again. Ironically. David O'Reilly's amazing t-shirts, for example. But irony isn't the only thing Comic Sans has going for it. The British Dyslexia Association considers Comic Sans a particularly good font for children who have trouble reading letters because of its easily distinguishable characters, like the letter A. For most of our history, books and signs had to be handwritten, often meticulously and expensively copied by hand. There were no printers, no typesetters. If you wanted a book, someone had to literally write by hand the whole book for you. But Gutenberg changed that by popularizing interchangeable type. He modeled his typepieces after the handwriting of scribes at the time, producing what could be called the very first font ever, Textura. Later on,
all my homies hate Comic Sans. Is Comic Sans based? Actually, we're gonna get based in Comic Sans pilled in a minute. Just wait. Vsauce is gonna Comic Sans pill us. You're a typographical nerd? Yeah, font discourse. I like a fair bit about typefacing. But I'm not a hyper nerd over it. What really gets you are the aesthetic script fonts you can barely read. Yeah, those aren't very good. Courier New. I have to remind myself what Courier New looks like. Yeah, 2013, the good old days when the most complained about thing on there was a text font.
Typesetters in Italy realized that words could be slanted and remain legible and readable, but take up less vertical space, so more could be printed on a single page. That's why it's called italics. Not because italics means slanted or oblique, but because of where it was invented. Italy.
Yeah, Smudge is around. He's doing a meow.
Metal type pieces had to be cast from molten metal in foundries, which get their name from the French fondue, which means something that has been melted. And so it's because of the word fondue that we now call a collection of characters within a typeface a font. When setting type, typesetters kept their type pieces in cases. The most commonly used pieces were kept in the lower case for easy access, whereas capitals were kept just a little above in the upper case. Back to Comic Sans. Comic Sans was designed...
This almost sounds like he's making it all up for the sake of justifying the the ways we refer to them. I know he's not, but just the fact that it all seems to be so convenient how it all lines up. It totally sounds like he's making it up. Yeah, it's just that history is often utterly mundane, yeah. Like a bunch of old surnames. If you meet somebody named Smith, chances are at some point way back in their family's history, their ancestor was a blacksmith. So they had the name Smith because that's how they defined people. Michael Smith, Michael the Smith, Michael the blacksmith, etc.
Signed in 1994 by Vincent Conair. According to the BBC, Melinda Gates herself asked Conair to...
His surname used to be Butt. Asking you kids to look up why it's called a bank holiday. Assume the answer is super boring, probably. Mitchell the Low.
...design a font for the cartoon dog in Microsoft Bob to speak in. And so, within 3 days, Conair had designed Comic Sans, based on hand-drawn fonts from comic books. It never actually made it into the final version of Microsoft Bob, but was subsequently...
He's too animated to be telling the truth. Less crazy InfoWars, true.
...released as a font choice on so many Microsoft products that it became what it is today. Millions of amateurs now had access to this font, which seemed simple and cute, and became popular on things like homemade birthday cards, but also in less...
Oh my god, no. Australia, I am ashamed of you. I am ashamed of you, Australia. Good lord. My birth country using Comic Sans on formal governmental buildings. I'm done with this country. I'm out. I'm moving to a transphobic country. Fuck it.
Appropriate situations. For instance, on an official Canadian coin, or...
Okay, I thought that was a penis. Just throwing that out there.
...on a gravestone. Because of things like that, Comic Sans has amassed a lot of haters. But it was never intended to be used so often or in such inappropriate situations. And so, in reality, the fault may lie with us. The typers.
Don't you blame me for that.
Comic Sans doesn't disappoint people. People disappoint people. Another way to think of it is this. Discerning type aficionados may recognize Comic Sans so quickly because it is a threat. Type design is a specialized discipline, but now anybody with a computer can take a stab at it.
Hello, nervous nerd ass. How you doing? What's going on? Excuse me. He's talking about your dad. Oh my goodness. Excuse me.
Appreciates your recommendation.
Super sweet boy. Thank you for the host. How you doing, mate? That's Australia. Writes pledges on EVs and climate change in Comic Sans. I hate this country, but they also gave me HRT for virtually nothing, so, you know. Hello, Fester. How's it going?
Your approval. They don't need you. To be sure, Comic Sans, objectively speaking, isn't really that well designed according to the fundamentals of type design. David Cadavy has a brilliant explanation of this in his Why You Hate Comic Sans. He points out that it's unbalanced and not very well kerned. Comic Sans is certainly not a calculated, precise font like Trajan, but it's...
Oh, what was that one? Come back.
Comic Sans is certainly not a calculated, precise font like Trajan.
That is beautiful. Oh my goodness, I just came. Nervous Nerdhouse, welcome to the program. We are watching Vsauce because we're angry, friends. We are angry at Twitch, and now I'm going to give the bet away. Twitch changed the /me function from colored text to italicized text, and it now no longer has the color because they were trying to prevent abuse or some bullshit. They changed the way /me works, and we are angry about it. Yes, I am serious. I am furious about it. So /me is now useless. Yeah, it just looks like an italicized regular message. That doesn't stand out to me. That doesn't read emote to me, like emotive. It looks stupid. I hate it. You know? Tower of Pisa. Anyway.
But it's not organic like real handwriting. Instead, it lies within the uncanny valley.
Oh.
This concept often
/me was the command to summon Jason.
The more human something gets, the cuter it becomes, and the more we like it. Until it's almost human, but not quite. At this point, things become creepy, almost scary. Perhaps Comic Sans exists.
This guy's Uncanny Valley David Cross. Yeah, always fixing shit that's not broken and not doing shit to fix actual problems on their side, yeah.
In that same area, typographically speaking. But that said, the screens that Comic Sans was originally designed to appear on were typically aliased. And as Cadavy points out, compared to fonts like Garamond, Comic Sans does really well here. That is how we should think about Comic Sans. A pragmatic font, a font that worked remarkably well in its era, and exists today as one of the most recognizable relics of one of the most important design revolutions in history. Books used to be painstakingly copied by hand. Now, later, you could design a story or an idea.
Proletariat print.
The final look really just came down to what a few typesetters could do. Today, almost anyone can dabble in typography, and that is an amazing thing. Sure, it means that Comic Sans will be used. A lot. But as Corey Holmes points out, Comic Sans is proof that design works. The public understands that type means more than words. And David Cadavy argues that just as interchangeable type led to a spread of literacy, Comic Sans and the personal publishing it comes along with should lead us toward a spread of design literacy. Sure, Comic Sans is a bit ugly, but it's ugly in the same way that the first few chords of Smoke on the Water are ugly, as played by almost every beginning guitarist who picks up a guitar at almost every instrument store.
I lean to the left, but that may just be laziness on my part. Yes, this is a pretty lefty stream. It's hard to define, but specifically, yes, very left-leaning, very, very progressive environment here. Very accepting and welcoming, and maybe we shouldn't kill people kind of a stream, you know? Fucking random question, but who the fuck loves hiding under the blankets when they're in bed? Yes, I do. I do it routinely lately because the cat keeps jumping up on me when I'm trying to sleep, and he swipes at my fucking face. You had to Google Simon, and apparently other people on the internet do that same thing. Huh. Hello, Possum Queen. How's it going?
Sure, it sounds annoying and a little bit fumbly, but it represents someone who is using tools to move toward mastery. Adrian Frutiger said that type has the power to make the whole world of thought legible simply by rearranging the same letters over and over again. Well, Comic Sans, overused by the untrained majority, may seem unsavory to some people, but as such, it most loudly represents something phenomenal. Today, it is possible for the whole world of thought to be made legible and be shared by the whole world. And as always, thanks for watching.
There we have it. Comic Sans. Did you like that, folks? Did you enjoy that one? We don't need to read any more about Arlene Foster resigning. She's a twat. Anyways, basically just bald, white, beard, and glasses. Alright, okay, hang on. Let me find out who this person is so I can compare. Simon Whistler. Alright. Excusez-moi. Vsauce is pretty fun. How the fuck do you... I mean, this photo you could definitely... But like there's other photos where I don't see the comparison. But I mean this one... There are a few there where I'm just like, okay, there's a comparison literally right there. There you go. Wasn't as funny as you thought it would be. I want to do videos that are on that level, on that caliber of being able to produce, you know, that amount of depth to a content, to a topic that I want to address. You know, I wish I had that level of information, that level of ability to produce something as informative as that. That's what I want to go for with my video essay things. But I'm not that good. It's the bald beard glasses thing, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, Weezer Waiter. He did a good TED Talk on the topic. Looks like a scientist from Half-Life. He does look like the very stereotypical scientist-y kind of character from anything, really. You know, the age-old egghead stereotype. My sports video was excellent. Thank you. I appreciate that. I was really, like, for most of that video, I was ranting, honestly. Bald beard, glasses, BBG sounds... Hello, Valkyrie. I am going to try to put the same level of effort into my next video, but it's taking so hard. It's taking so long for me to wrap my head around what I want to put to paper with this thing and then turn it into the actual video. Also, I'm limited by the technology of my time or the fact that I'm poor and I can't afford, you know, an entire room to turn into a video studio. Anyway, anyways, moving on from that. On to some bad news. Should we talk about some bad news? What's this one? Another one. Why do we ask questions? Michael Stevens at TEDx Vienna. Hang on. I just want to see this moment because somebody commented this. Okay, hang on. But yeah, I'll come back to bad news in a sec. Independently organized TED event.
What is the best kind of cheese to use to catch a bear? Someone knows over here? Obviously, the answer is Camembert. Camembert? Camembert?
Ha ha ha.
Okay. Thank you. I have a head full of cheese puns, but I was told I have to keep it brief. What did the piece of cheese say when it looked into the mirror? No. It said, "Hello, me. Hello, me." What can I say, guys? I love a good pun. Why? I don't know, because puns are funny, right? Why? Well, because there's a bit of a surprise factor. You know, you feel outsmarted for a second until you get the double meaning. Why? I don't, because that's the way language works. Okay, I get what these slides are doing. They're playing the why game, right? Where you just keep asking, why? Why? But why after everything someone says? Kids do it all of the time. And adults...
You like a good pun? Well, those were all terrible puns.
should do it more often. I'm just kidding. Don't. It's annoying. You can ask why over and over and over again forever, even if one day we explain every physical interaction and scientific law and hope and dream and regret with a single elegant equation. You could still ask, why? Why that equation? Why doesn't the universe operate with some different equation?
Hi, Ren. How you doing? Why? Then you get your kid to become a communist by blaming everything on capitalism. I'm working on it, okay? Every time that my kids ask me things about money, I say, well, we don't have any money because capitalism has ruined my life. And thus, this is why we are communists in this household. Anywho's. Ted XXX, when does this get Vsauce? Call me house. Don't you fucking dare ask questions about asking questions. Vsauce, don't fucking do it. We'll be here all day. Like he mentioned, he had a certain limited amount of time to continue the talk. Good night, Fox. Have a good one. I'm going to turn the light on this down a tad. There we go. See, lefties a bit if you're a communist. I'm still not sure if I don't like the idea of political labels for myself personally. I do like to consider myself very left-leaning, of course. But I don't like, to specifically define myself as communist, socialist, or any of those kinds of things. Definitely not fascist, at least. You got news, you have a job. Congratulations, Ren. Can we get a round of applause for Ren? Yes, we can, because I have a soundboard. Congratulations. That's awesome. Why what is a why and why is it? I have another question for you. Why is Gamora? Yes, that's a funny joke. Let's go with that one. Anyway, let's go with a reference to a Marvel movie, which is one of the most outwardly capitalistic things I think we have in the world today. Might be nice to understand his process. That's a good idea, actually. Where's the link? I'll come back to it, actually. That's a good point. I will save the link. I'll watch the whole thing later. I will save that to my watch later list. I've got a bunch of videos in my watch later list. Anywho... Botwick, please stop posting messages in chat. I know you're my bot, and I appreciate all the help you give me, but it pains me. It pains me, Botwick, to see what Twitch has done to you. It truly does. I am absolutely appalled at the way Twitch has just assassinated the identity of my bot. Look at the italics in plain color. Look at that and tell me, is that justice? Is that justice to our bots? It is not. It is an absolute, unequivocal travesty. Text cocked. Look how they massacred my bot. Oh, God. Would I support a revolution? This is a tricky question. Because I am, despite the sword, I'm a pacifist. I'm much more in favor of changing things through policy than through violence. I like a few violent properties, things like, video games, for example. But I do not support violence. In the same way that, what's happening towards transgender people now? Let's bring it back around to Maya Forstater, for example. This bitch. She's specifically responsible for a type of symbolic violence against trans people. In the sense that, this whole thing about her not, losing her job a few years ago and talking about, biological sex and protecting women and all this kind of thing, she and the people who follow and support her have committed symbolic violence against trans people by othering them, by alienating them. And to that end, it feels as though it would be justified in some ways, not just from the trans perspective, but from numerous other political perspectives. I can understand how certain people would feel justified in the idea of committing violence because they feel, much like I feel, that I've been treated unjustly by society and people like me in the trans community have been treated unjustly by society. It would make sense for certain people who feel they have also been unjustly treated by society to lash out violently and commit revolution. However, I am personally one of those people who doesn't like the idea of committing to a violent act. I have a lot of I know we're getting deep on this now, but I feel like I might as well talk about this because it's an interesting topic. Sorry, I'm rearranging my microphone there. As someone who comes from a background of a person, as someone who comes from a prior identity that definitely had this issue of excessive anger control problems, rage management, anger management issues, which I often feared could turn violent. I always worried about the notion of what's going to happen if somebody sets me off to such a degree that I actually physically lash out. I always dreaded that concept. After transitioning and after being on estrogen for a good long while now, that sensation has largely dissolved, thankfully. But, I am now inherently almost traumatized by my prior self on the notion that I could have committed a violent act in anger. And I worry about people who are politically leading in that way of like, the only way we're ever going to change the world is through violence. And the notion of committing to a violent revolution is one that can skew fascistic. And this comes back around to Riley Grace Rochong's thing recently, where she didn't like the meme of Eat the Rich, which has got more context to it than just eat the rich. But she didn't like how specifically violent it was and how it implied that ideologies like socialism and communism lean into violence by their very revolutionary nature. But it's more that communism leans into violence. Socialism, from what I have been able to glean, seems to be what I just mentioned before. I'd like to see things changed via policy for the betterment of everyone. I would not like to see everyone burning and slicing each other up in the streets. And yeah, capitalism is violent as fuck. It absolutely is. Capitalism is predicated upon violence. But it likes to pretend it isn't. Here's the thing. We're not doing cannibalism. I don't want to do cannibalism. I don't want to do capitalism either. Non-violent revolution is defiantly preferable, but those in power will try to retain power through force, as they do currently, yes. So you kind of like, in the circumstance of violent revolution, you also have to contend with the people in power who've got far more physical power than you do as a revolutionary group. In order to have a proper revolution in something like, say, the United States, it would need to be the entire population against a fascistic government. In order to have that kind of revolutionary overthrow, it would need to be the entire populace. You'd need to flip the military, yeah, exactly, which would be incredibly difficult. And then, yeah, you'd need to be able to make sure you control as many, especially in a place like the US, which has a major gun problem. You would need to be able to control most of those firearms that are in the hands of the populace. And yeah, you're right, Valkyrie. Half the population in the US are fully on board with fascism. Like, unironically, fascist notions, fascist ideals have become so normalized in the United States. It's scary how often I've heard people, literally talking heads, pundits from the right, outright stating that they think fascism is going to be a thing that's going to happen in the next 10 years in the United States because they'll feel like the left has pushed them that way. The left. They'll feel the left has pushed them to fascism. They'll feel like the left has pushed Republicans to elect a fascist leader in 10 years, which they almost did. They had Trump, and he was fascism light, but he didn't get to where he wanted to go with it. Anyways. True believer in the violent revolution stuff. It's just not the time and won't be until long after you're dead. Yeah, I think if it does come to violent revolution, I think civilization would have devolved significantly at that point. Like it or not, we are very comfortable right now in the Western world. We've got a lot of comforts. And it would take the United States dissolving to a near Fallout or Mad Max level before it actually reaches significant violent revolution kind of states. And then by the time it's reached that point, it would be an anarchistic survival of the fittest society. All political ideologies go out the window. Fuck it. Potato Planter, welcome to the Rogue Room. Eat the Rich comes from the fact that the poor literally have no food, so they have nothing else to eat but. Yeah, that's literally it, yes. When you live in the American South, y'all keep me in your thoughts. Like it here. Sorry it took so long to stop in. No, don't apologize at all. The left has led to fascism. The left, if we define the left as Democrats and therefore liberalism. I'm still not sure what specifically liberalism means in the grand. Oops, all isms. Oh yeah, anarchy. Yeah, I forgot about anarchy. Shut up. Anyway, the comfort of being legislated out of existence and abducted from affirming parents. Oh yeah, well that. All these isms given me a schism. But yeah, I mean, in the broadest sense, yeah, we have a lot of comfort. But yes, we also do have a lot of division and a lot of disdain and a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of othering, specifically towards transgender people at the moment. Which, of course, yes, means we're being legislated out of existence in the United States, in the UK. I fear those kind of legislations are going to come to Australia. Because Australia just likes to copy whatever the UK and the US does. And, like, please don't take away my titties. I like the fact that I've got titties. Don't take my HRT away. I need that. I like jiggling my boobs in the mirror and giggling at them. Don't take away my ability to transition. Aren't titties the best they are? Not that I have much of them, but if I ever have the income, I'm certainly getting top surgery, I'll tell you what. So this stream was very gay and leftist. Perfect. It definitely is, Potato. Definitely is. These might be small, but they are mine. Yes. It's one of those feelings where it's like, I look at myself topless in the mirror and I'm like, damn. Imagine causing there to be less boobs in the world and thinking you're doing a good thing. Well, I mean, arguably, you could suggest that, you know, because there are trans men in the world who want to get top surgery to remove theirs, and there are trans women in the world who either take HRT and grow them naturally, which can happen, or do get top surgery themselves, you could argue it probably balances out. Yeah, can we do a titty swap meet? And NBs too, exactly. As a very good vibes book called Everything is Fucked, said ideologies are basically modern day religions and can lead you astray in terms of toxic hope all the same. Yes, this is the problem that I've noticed with specific political ideologies. Is you're very correct. Oh, the trans-liberation thing looks wrong now. God damn it. Anyway, this just cycles back around to the notion of violence amid socialists and communists and, of course, fascists and capitalists and all of this. Capitalists already have the cream of the crop. They've got the comfortable place at the top of society. Anyone who is a capitalist can ignore the active violence, passive violence, and symbolic violence that capitalism already commits on a regular basis. So, you know, in that regard, you know, capitalists don't have anything to worry about in this discussion. Whereas in Western society, because I know there are communist and socialist nations out there in the world, which are proven to be rather violent. There are issues in those kinds of nations. But the thing is, you can take the ideas of communism, you can take the ideas of socialism and say, these are good ideas, but you could do the same thing for fascism. And we look at fascism and we understand what fascism is. But if you look at the manifesto of fascism, there are numerous things listed in there where it's just like, this could be an ideology that could actually work. But we know what fascism is. We've seen it in practice. And this is one of the problems when you try to tell people out there in other political ideas. You know, I'm a socialist. For example, if you say I'm a socialist, then you've got the same thing with the socialist nations the world has experienced, or communist nations the world has experienced, in that they are not exactly a stellar example of a functioning society. So that's used against those kinds of ideas, whatever, doesn't matter. Or capitalist sympathizers, those who support capitalism but have no capital. Yeah, that's basically what I mean when I say capitalists. I just refer to anyone who is under capitalism and fully simps as hard as they can for capitalism. You know, the kinds of people who will, colonialists, honestly, at the end of the day, they're colonialists. And that is why Octopus is angry. He could be happy. But he's angry because capitalism bad. Capitalism killed his mother. Anyway, he's looking right at you now. Since Mad Max is set in 2021, does that mean I can wear Mad Max-like clothing? Please do. Everyday fetish wear, please do. But yes, you're right. It is just as violent in capitalistic nations. It is. And foundationalizing a certain political ideology, like socialism, is not going to rid the world of that violence. But it seems a damn sight more hopeful than capitalism does. Because capitalism is inherently unfair by its very definition, very divisive by its very definition. And to that end, excuse me. Oh, bloody hell. Talking for 3 hours straight really dries your fucking throat out. Anyway. What was I saying? What was I going to say? Trying to foundationalize a nation on socialism, for example, is not going to rid that nation of violence. But it seems like it's probably a step in the right direction. Hello, Zeta. How you doing? When am I going to do calling? Because I'm just posting cringe. Calling? Call-ins. Call-ins. Is that what you mean? How many tickles does it take to make Octoplushy happy? 10 tickles. Drink water. Take any medication you need. Remember to eat what you can. Breathe however you can. And stretch however you're able to. You know what's posting cringe, though? Is the phrase posting cringe. Anyways. If you're wearing a binder, make sure you take it off after 8 hours. If you tuck, pay attention to your body. Know your limits and stop if it hurts. I have never tried tucking. To be fair, I don't know much of what I'm talking about. I should do call-ins at some point. That'd be a neat idea. Get someone else's opinion on here. Saying cringe is cringe. Cringe has its applications at times. Has its applications. In the same way based does. But if you routinely just spam the phrase cringe, if you say nothing but that for an extended amount of time, then that itself is cringe, if you're just referring to everything as cringe constantly. Anyways, how's my mice plugged in? Via a cable? Solace, you can call in. We could do a call-in thing one day. How's my mic plugged in? There's a cable in the back of it. Up here, it's just out of shot. It's hidden by the octopus. He will go back to staring angrily at you now. What specific cringe am I calling you? What specific cringe do you need to call out on me? Cringe culture is dead and we killed it. We cancelled cringe culture. We cancel cultured cringe culture. Can we post some real cringe, though? A wired wireless mouse. I tried wireless periphery, and I fucking hate it. Wired is always better when it comes to peripherals. When it comes to machines, in general, use Ethernet. Don't use Wi-Fi if you're streaming, especially. If you're doing online gaming, if you're doing any kind of gaming, don't use any... Well, I mean, if you're doing online gaming, certainly use LAN cables. But if you're trying to use a mouse and keyboard for controlling your character in certain video games, use cabled as well. Use wired. It made it look like you had no cable. Got the same mic and have had so much trouble with that USB cord. Really? There's just too much. I mean, I know I am pretty cringe, but I'm not that cringe. Calm down. I don't want to swap thumbs. He's sick of yours being in pain. I've got other pains that we can swap. I'm trying not to call everything cringe, but it's a good way to get out of using ableist language like stupid. True. On the subject, can we talk about some cringe here not here. I went to say here in the UK, and I'm like, bitch, you're in Australia. We got to talk about this before. We haven't gotten around to it yet. Maya Forstadter's gender-critical views are hate speech and a threat to trans people, tribunal told. Forgotten what you had an issue with. I forget. I was speaking broadly. Gender-critical views are hate speech and an existential threat to trans people rooted in insult and slander, a UK tribunal was told today. It was the second day of a landmark case that will determine whether it becomes legal to deadname and misgender trans people in the workplace. Now, as far as I know, just off the bat, you can tell this article is biased. I will concede that Pink News is certainly a biased source, but biased towards the left, specifically queer folks. However, in this circumstance, she's trying to make it legal that her viewpoint that transgender people cannot change their biological sex and so yada yada yada. Like, she thinks she got, she wants to be able to say that kind of thing in the workplace or around the workplace or what have you without facing reprimand, basically. Trying to make transphobia a protected national characteristic. But, you know, if that happens, then it's definitely one of those slippery slope kind of situations. The appeal has been brought by tax researcher Maya Forstater, who wants her gender critical view, which is that trans women are men and that she reserves the right to say so whenever she wishes, to be protected by UK's Equality Act. Forstater's lawyer argued yesterday that being asked to refer to trans people with the correct pronouns is compelled speech. How is it? How is it compelled speech? Okay, let me say this to you right now. If I see a cis woman and I know she's a cis woman and I start referring to her by male pronouns and she says to me that, you know, please refer to me as she and her, please refer to me by my actual identity, and I get fired for that, am I allowed to make the same argument? That it's compelled speech? I was compelled to say something I don't believe? Oh, I don't believe that cis woman is actually cis, or a woman. I believe that's a man. I believe he is a man, and that is my belief, and you can't trample on that. Is that the same thing? Is that the same concept? Does that apply there or not? You know? She's a cunt, and you could say that to her cunt face if you ever saw her. Maya for stating that sex is real to be a prick. Yeah, exactly. No one is arguing that sex is not real, but we are arguing that sex is not a binary, of course, and that sex biology is far more complicated than somebody like Maya Forstater understands it to be. Actively, she's ignorant of the concept of sex biology in this circumstance. But yeah, to refer to a person's gender and the correct pronouns as compelled speech, and that calling trans women she or her forces a gender critical person to express a view they do not share. It's not a view, though. You don't. I mentioned this before. I posted this on Twitter. And in response to somebody on my YouTube. Some idiot on my YouTube who said to me, putting your hair in pigtails does not a woman make. And I'm like, you don't get to define who I am. That is not something that you have the responsibility of. You are not the person in control of my identity. You know? You're not the person in control of what my personage is. So your belief does not apply to me. That's not how this interaction works. They are so desperate to be oppressed. That's exactly what's going on here. Today, the barrister for Forstater's former employer told London's Employment Appeals Tribunal that a core component of Forstater's gender-critical view is misgendering trans people, which causes enormous pain, is beyond offensive, constitutes harassment, and will make workplaces dangerous to trans people, as if they were not already. You know, workplaces are already dangerous to trans people. Especially if that trans person is in a front-facing service role, for example. Or just in an environment where they're dealing with transphobic co-workers. And here's the thing, right? Is a lot of people like to assert that Maya Forstater directly harassed trans people. There's been some sketchy information on that. She insists she's never harassed trans people. And in my personal opinion, and probably the opinion of many, it's not so much that Maya Forstater may or may not have harassed trans people, whether online or in person or whatever. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, her gender-critical viewpoint, that is to say that she doesn't believe a trans woman is a woman, won't refer to them by she and her pronouns. Similarly, same with trans men, won't refer to them by he or him pronouns, and probably doesn't even believe non-binary people exist. It's that her being such a face in this discussion and resurrecting this issue for the sake of this case that she's going through, this legal case, she has become the... What's the phrase I'm looking for here? The messiah for the transphobic cause, basically. It's not if she's harassing people, it's the justification she gives to other terfs, other gender-critical types, to then go out and harass people. She is, the figurehead. She's the person, she's the spark that ignites the flame. The poster child. Exactly. She creates a problem by continuing to hammer on about this, when she could just give up and stop harassing people. But it's not that she is directly harassing people, it's everyone who has hashtag I stand with Maya in their Twitter bios that is doing it. This case is about the rights of workers, including trans workers, who will never be safe in the workplace again if this appeal is allowed, argued Jane Russell for Washington-based think tank, the Center for Global Development. Maya is not being required to express a belief she does not hold, she is simply being required not to harass others. Maya Forstater believes men cannot be women. Yeah, they can't because they're men. But I'm not a man, I'm a woman. There is a difference there. I don't know if my eyes are in the shot or not. This is the thing. She is insisting that trans women are men, which is explicitly harassing. Maya Forstater took the CGD to an employment tribunal in 2019, arguing that they had discriminated against her for holding gender-critical views. Again, I still feel like the term gender-critical more applies to us than them, because they are using an outdated and archaic definition of binary gender to define their critique of gender. Whereas I feel like people who are more open to the concept of gender are more gender-critical, more critical of the overall concept, but anyway. Her employment contract with the think tank was not renewed after she upset colleagues with her anti-trans views in 2018. This included Forstater vocally opposing trans rights reforms online, stating that men cannot be women, and responding in workplace Slack messages to colleagues challenging her negative comments about the physical appearance of a gender-fluid non-binary person, the tribunal was told. So she does at least know that non-binary people exist, I suppose. But yeah, like vocally opposing trans rights reforms online. So trans people want to have the rights that trans people deserve, and she was acting in opposition to that, largely with her trans women are men argument, which again makes her the figurehead of a harassment movement, of a transphobic harassment movement. The court heard today that 2 employees at CGD said her gender-critical views were offensive, problematic, and made them uncomfortable, and worried about how potential funders would react. The 2019 Employment Tribunal ruled that Maya Forstater's gender-critical views do not qualify as a protected belief because they degrade the rights of trans people. The judge at that time said her anti-trans views are not worthy of respect in a democratic society. I'm going to just go on a reach here because I don't know if I'm going to turn this subject into a video. I don't think I even made a stream marker for it. But I want to piss off somebody who thinks I'm comparing certain issues to certain other issues. So if they see this video, go fuck yourself, cunt. What would you say, for example, if there was an employee at your workplace who sternly believed in phrenology, specifically to the racial point that they looked at people who were not white? Of course, this coworker is white. What would you say if you were a person of color who worked in an environment where there was someone who strongly believed that phrenology was an indicator over, say, the intellect of someone who was not a white person? That would be pretty derogatory and degrading, right? That'd be a pretty derogatory thing. That would be kind of harassing. You would feel uncomfortable around that person, I imagine. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. I get the suspicion most people would not align with the idea that skull science determines one's intellect or determines one's validity as a person. Essentially, phrenology is a woefully outdated form of measuring the skull from ye olden times, like the early 1900s or late 1800s or something like that. Specifically a racist science. It was a way of justifying, back in those days, actually it was earlier than the 1900s, the teaching about the frenulum. It was about, it was literally about justifying racism by saying, look, the skull of the black man is different to the skull of the white man, therefore the white man is superior. That is what phrenology is. A racist science of skulls to justify racial differences in intelligence and stuff. Same thing happened with psychology with regards to gender. Women were considered to be psychologically inferior, and that led to a bunch of justifications about why women shouldn't vote, shouldn't drive, shouldn't this, shouldn't that, shouldn't have jobs. You get the point I'm making. If somebody held those woefully outdated views in the workplace, and the workplace said, well, we don't want you working under our company, your views do not align with the vision of the company, do you think they'd have a case? Do you think they would have a legal case to argue against that? Classic use reasoning to justify conclusions. Yes, exactly. Literally drawing a conclusion first and working back from that to fill in the blanks. Gender Recognition Act means it is possible to change sex. Maya Forstater holds the gender-critical opinion that there are only 2 sexes. Well, she's wrong. She's wrong. Mezzy Motes Eats Oats, welcome to the Rogue Room. How you doing? She's wrong. There's only 2 sexes, male and female. Incorrect. Incorrect. and that it is not possible to change sex, including in cases where a trans person has gained legal recognition of their gender. And some of the legislation in the UK is working to reverse this, including for people that have already had their legal gender changed. So there is legislation that is being speculated upon in the UK that people who've already had their legal recognition of gender changed will have that reversed on them. Which is fucking scary. How you doing, Mazzy? What's going on? Dismissing this view today, Russell said this debate is over. There is a democratic consensus that it is legally possible to change sex. So legally, in the legal sense. You know, if I were to, I'd need to get certain things done to make this happen. But if I were to go and change the sex on my birth certificate, which I fully intend to do, it would be a legal sex change. That's what it means. It would be a legal sex change. So the male on my birth certificate would say female, which is legally represented by, typically speaking, having had some kind of a surgery or something to that effect. If I'm making this into the vid, you need to mention intersex people. Well, that's what I was going to get to. When she says there are only two sexes, male and female, she's completely dismissing intersex people who either have both sets of sex organs or some combination or configuration of the two. Those people are not specifically male or female, and they are not such an insignificant minority that you can simply write them off. That's not how this works. They are still people, and they still have validity in society. Anyway, where were we? She told the court that the Gender Recognition Act, which was enacted in 2004, is a legal provision that allows a change in sex, that's what it is. Where a full gender recognition certificate is issued to a person, the person's gender becomes, for all purposes, the acquired gender, so that if the acquired gender is the male gender, the person's sex becomes that of a male, Russell said. I am so sick of seeing these ads whenever I go on this website. I feel like Mara Wilson would probably be just sick of seeing this picture. She went on to quote French feminist Simone de Beauvoir. As Simone de Beauvoir observed, one is not born a woman, one becomes one. Why can that not apply to trans women too? Yeah. If you understand the theory that leans into this, if you understand Beauvoir's theory, then you realize that, no people are specifically born a man or a woman. Or any point in between for that matter. Phrenology is where the words highbrow and lowbrow come from. Oh my god! Oh my... You're fucking kidding. I just realized that. Oh my fucking god, dude! Highbrow and lowbrow. Highbrow referring to something that's a little bit more haute couture, a little bit more intellectual. Lowbrow's like, farts. Farts are funny. Highbrow and lowbrow humor, classist basically, comes from the idea that, a person of a higher brow is a little bit more classy. They've got a little bit more intellect behind them, darling. I get it now! Oh my god, I fucking get it now. That's incredible. Oh shit, so Dwayne Johnson's eyebrow. Anyway, let's come back to this. Maya forced out his belief that there is an existential challenge to trans people, Russell said. She says they are lying. She says to them, you are not who you say you are. And even if you have a GRC, you are not what the law says you are. Maya Forstater says a trans person's very being is a performance. So is all gender. That's what gender is, you dipshit. That's all gender is. It's a performance. Anyway, in doing so, she is creating a sex superiority which has two classes of women. Real women, on the one hand, natal women, and fake women who are not and who are less than. That position is beyond the pale and is denying an essential aspect of a group of people with the protected characteristic of gender reassignment. If Forstater's appeal succeeds, the two-tier system of equality will be created, Russell warned. The hearing is now concluded and the judgment has been reserved. It is expected in the coming months. There we go. Eye moustaches. I love it. Today I learned that high and lowbrow were both racist terms. If you just go based on the classist notion to begin with. Astro CS, welcome to the Red Room. if you just go based on the notion that already, like, highbrow and lowbrow were designed to designate class, right? You get that. A highbrow joke is something that only a very smart, very scholarly, very wealthy person from a rich kind of background would get. And a lowbrow joke is something that a poor person with low education would get. By that very definition, just at the beginning, that's already racist, because classism and racism just go together. Anyways, you have been watching from the start of the stream. Well, there you go. I hope you've been having a good time watching me just ramble. Yes, Twitch did fuck up the me command. Oh, fuck. I hate it. I hate the /me thing. I'm in pain. I'm in pain over the /me thing. I hate it so much. No, angy noises. This is what they changed. They changed /me from what face wants a glacial meta to what face... they changed it to an italicized default color. Just... fucking asshole. Twitch. Assholes. Why would you do that? You ruined it. Stop slashing yourself. Oh, God. Anywho. That's about all I had, really. I was going to do some more. Issue? What issue? The fact that they changed /me? Fucking /me. No, damn it! I hate looking at it. I really, really hope they fucking change it. I really do. You know what? We do have some pretty poggers news to end the night on. Aside from the gender critical bullshit. We do have some pretty poggers news. What issue? Yeah, exactly. What issue are they trying to correct? If you can figure that out, let me know. They said it was to curb abuse, basically. Sorry to disappear. You never need to apologize, Aurora. You'll never stop writing stories about me being in MM relationships. My pronouns are she and her. Okay, here's some pretty poggers news. Yeah, the /me donates $1,000. That's all that stops. It really is. I've got some pretty poggers news. Also, it's /rogue if you want to know more about me. Here's some pog news for you folks. Woolworths cancels Dan Murphy's store plans for Darwin near 3 dry indigenous communities. We meant to cover this the other night, but I didn't get around to it. There were plans for Woolworths to erect a Dan Murphy's store near, well, as you can tell, 3 dry indigenous communities, near a bunch of communities that had an alcoholism problem. Right, and the local people were trying their best to say to Woolworths, like, listen, no, there is a drinking problem here. These people are trying to get sober. They're trying to get off this. And putting a Dan Murphy's here is very not based. Supermarket giant Woolworths has scrapped its long-running push to open a large-scale Dan Murphy's outlet near Darwin's airport, but has not ruled out a development at another location. The company said a review found Woolworths had not done enough to engage with Aboriginal groups concerned the store would worsen the region's already high rates of alcohol-related harm. The outlet was to be built on airport land in Darwin's northern suburbs, close to 3 dry Aboriginal communities. I keep reading it as original. In a statement issued this morning, Woolworths said the review, led by commercial lawyer Danny Gilbert, recommended the development near the airport should not go ahead. In a shareholder briefing on Thursday morning, Woolworths chief executive Brad Banducci did not rule out the prospect of a Dan Murphy's outlet opening elsewhere in Darwin. Dan Murphy's is quite frankly one of the biggest alcohol chains. Original's not wrong. Yeah, true. I think it's one of the biggest liquor store chains in Australia, and they're one of those liquor stores that's like a huge outlet store. It's got everything in it. You know, if you want to get all varieties of wine and mixers and beers and all this, you'd go to Dan Murphy's. You know, they're the big alcohol store. Whereas if you want just a few of the basic shit, you can go to Liquorland, whatever. They are original too. It's a different company to the Woolworths that went bust in the UK, exactly. Same with Kmart in Australia. Kmart in Australia is different to Kmart in America. In a shareholder briefing, we read that bit. He said future plans were a matter for the Woolworths subsidiary Endeavour Drinks Group, which is demerging from the supermarket chain. We have announced today that we will not be proceeding on the current location, he said. As to whether there's a future Dan Murphy's in Darwin, that will be up to the Endeavour Group, but certainly in any engagement process going forward, we will take on board the Gilbert Review findings and adjust how we consult those matters. Woolworths Group Chairman Gordon Cairn said the company had commissioned the review to ensure no community concerns about the project had been overlooked. The Gilbert Review has made it clear that we did not do enough in this community to live up to the best practice stakeholder engagement, to which we hold ourselves accountable, he said. In particular, we did not do enough stakeholder engagement with a range of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities and organisations. The company said the process would create a platform for better engagement with Aboriginal groups in the future. This keeps going, there's tons in here. There is a store called Liquorland. Absinthe! I tried absinthe recently and I didn't like it. I wanted to like it, but I just couldn't. I think I just don't know how to prepare absinthe. I don't have the things needed to prepare absinthe. Maybe I can try that again in the near future. Good job though on Woolies' behalf, they at least listened. Yeah, they did. Liquor, I hardly know. The announcement was welcomed by Darwin's Danila Dilba Aboriginal Health Service, which had launched a legal challenge to the development, calling on the Woolworths to abandon the project. Chief Executive Olga Havnen said she commended the company on its decision. We absolutely welcome the decision by Woolworths not to proceed with the Dan Murphys in Darwin, she said. We think it's the right thing to do, and it was certainly more than just the lack of appropriate consultation. It actually goes to the question of public health issues, the public health concerns that we raised consistently, and the potential for increased harm as a result of alcohol. The proposed store was awarded a liquor license. A liquor license. I need a liquor license to stop me from drinking to the point where I can't read. A liquor license late last year after Labour pushed amendments through Parliament that sidelined the Independent Liquor Commission, which had knocked the development back. That's not very based. The government's policy changes were criticised by health groups and Aboriginal organisations, as well as supporters of the store who said Labour's previous opposition to it caused difficulties and delay. It's not really a hallucinogen, no, but I'm having difficulty putting words into my mouth. I can read them fine, I can't speak them. Almost 4 years sober, I should stop drinking, honestly. I've got numerous dietary issues, primarily psychological ones, as in I have eating and drinking disorders. Absinthe is gorgeous, a spoon of sugar drenched in absinthe, then set on fire before consuming. Interesting. Please coach me in the ways of absinthe. Pour up a liquor license. Where were we? In a statement on Thursday, Chief Minister Michael Gunner said the government has provided certainty. We can't respect the decision of the Northern... we can. We respect the decision of the Northern Territory Liquor Licensing Director. We also respect Woolworths' decision to not proceed, he said. The Northern Territory government has positioned itself as a leading jurisdiction when it comes to alcohol reforms in Australia. Despite Woolworths' decision, people remain able to enjoy a drink responsibly in the Darwin and Palmerston area and enjoy choice. There are several hundred licensed liquor outlets across the region. The bureaucrat that granted the company's liquor license in December said the project was critical for Darwin's post-coronavirus economic recovery, and the risks of harms associated with it could be mitigated. Oh my god, I can't read. Cat, you're going to have to get off me if you're going to pull that shit. Off you go. Go on, fuck off. Holy shit. But anyway, we were supposed to cover that story the other night. And it was last night or the night before. I had a story listed where I wanted to talk about how, first and foremost, it's an Aboriginal community, which just honestly makes matters worse, because that comes around to that systemic racism thing again. That old pesky systemic racism. The sheer fact that there are communities of Aboriginal people who are experiencing alcohol crises is a factor of, those communities not having, companies like Woolworths and other such outlets facilitating that, and just feeding into existing alcohol problems amid the community. So, and in those particular environments where people are less likely to get help for that, less likely to get treatment for, sobriety, for needing sobriety. You know what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. I'm too drunk. I haven't even had that much. I just haven't even had that much. I think it's just a combination of the fact that it's late, the fact that I've had something to drink, I'm tired, You were an occasional social drinker, and then 2020 came along. Yeah, I can imagine. Ah, goodness. Oh, there's wormwood in it. So I get it from the Czech Republic, where those laws don't apply. Thank you for the hydration, by the way. There was a book series you read years ago called The Darwin Elevator where there was a pseudo-zombie apocalypse and Darwin was the location of the last safe city. Also had a space elevator at its center. Yeah, making money off poisoning another community, basically. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. Those laws exist for safety reasons. It could have been psychosomatic. I mean, there are people who might be neurodivergent, who might experience hallucinogenic symptoms as a result of drinking alcohol. Not necessarily. I'm just saying it's a possibility. Because, you know, the way in which we interact with drugs could vary from person to person based, again, on neurodivergent factors. There are certain people who, you know, already are not schizophrenic but do experience a level of hallucination, and alcohol is known to exacerbate certain symptoms of mental illness in numerous respects. So, yeah, it could be you more than the alcohol. Was a weird book? It sounds it. It certainly sounds it. At any rate, I'm happy that that has been cancelled. I'm happy that the Dan Murphy store is not going up there because we don't want to make matters worse for people. We don't want to facilitate even more alcoholism and make people more likely to engage in harms towards themselves and their community because of that. Drink booze to help you sleep, otherwise you sleep like shit. I can understand that. There have been a number of people I've spoken to over the years who've had that same issue. They can't get to sleep without alcohol or weed or cigarettes or something. I'm sure I've heard of at least one person who quite literally needed to drink coffee before they go to bed. Not even kidding. They couldn't sleep without having a nightly coffee. And now I'm beginning to think that that was kind of me as well. But I'm off the caffeinated... I'm on the decaf stuff now. You know. I think, you know, different drugs can have different effects on us in certain ways. Cannabis is you go to for that? Shuts the ridiculous train junction down for the night? Yeah. Cannabis doesn't make you sleepy unless you get really, really high. I can imagine that. The thing is, like with alcohol, there's nothing about alcohol that has made me particularly tired. I just get, you know, a bit floaty. You know, I don't particularly, excuse me. I don't particularly think, get tired when I'm really drunk. I just get really, really, like, out of it. I could probably certainly pass out if I tried, you know. What do I think about tattoos? I plan on getting one on the back of my hand as soon as I have the money for it. Caffeine can have the opposite effect on a lot of people with ADHD. There you go. I don't get tired, yawns. I used to be that person, honestly. I used to be the person who was like, I don't get tired. I don't need to sleep. Because, you know, during my teens especially, I had a very significant issue of staying up for days at a time. And there was a lot more drinking a lot of energy drinks and feeling like I was invincible. The world couldn't touch me kind of thing. So I would eat bad as well. But yeah, I really let myself succumb to bad habits, honestly. If you keep going when your brain goes too much thinky, cannot think you all the things. Think bad, sleep time now. Technically, it's called a delusion when you are convinced your hallucinations are real. Well, yes. Well, delusion is specifically when you have an idea about the reality in which you live, which could be informed by hallucination, and you fully believe it. You fully subscribe to the idea. It doesn't necessarily need to be about hallucinations. But for example, the people who believe that the government is trying to force masks on people as a form of systemic control, you know, that's a delusion. I'm trying to figure out why I'm getting alert notifications tonight for YouTube subscribers. I'm just looking at my Streamlabs on it right now and I'm like, how is that possible? Why am I getting YouTube subscribers coming through on my Twitch streams? How's that happening? So delusional transphobes are hallucinating about gender. Oh, that's good. Oh, fuck. Yes. Anyway, rightoid, I can see gender. Oh, goodness me. Alright. I'm tired. It's late. I've got a new video going up at about midday tomorrow. It's about the Joe Rogan thing. Joe Rogan anti-vax thing. So I'm gonna get going, I think. It's late. I should probably go to sleep. Rightoids don't hit bongs. Weed is the devil's lettuce. Oh, fuck. Oh, mate. You're also wonderful. Can I just say that? You're also wonderful. This is Moscato Rosé, I believe. And maybe it just makes me more lovey-dovey. I don't know. I don't usually appreciate people emotionally. Everyone can get fucked. Let's see. He's centrist. Yeah, he's a centrist. Alright, how's about... Rosie asked me if I have this game. I don't have it, but Pinoppy is playing First Class Trouble, so we're going to go swing by. As far as I can tell, it's another variant of the Among Us formula to an extent. She's super cool. She's super chill. I think if I ever hit up, like, I think she lives in Queensland. If I ever go to Queensland, we're definitely going to hang out, co-stream, do something. But, you know, whenever that has the opportunity to happen. You're also wonderful. I don't hate people for a moment. Anyway, I am interested in checking this game out. Honestly, like, the style of First Class Trouble, before we go, reminds me of a game called The Ship, which was very similar to that Among Us formula style of game before Among Us even existed. And I think my friend Jeffrey tried to get me into it, and First Class Trouble looks almost exactly like The Ship. Anyway, here's the socials in god-awful italics. Here's the newest video if you have not for some reason already watched it. And I guess I'll see you tomorrow. We're going to be doing the Fallout New Vegas stream tomorrow night. Because we didn't do it on Wednesday. So anyway, we're moving the gaming streams to the end of the week nowadays. Thank you so kindly for hanging out, folks. You've all been amazing. I love your faces. And I'll see you when I'm looking at you. I should really have the button on the Stream Deck ready to go, so I don't, like, awkwardly look away. Like that. That kind of transition. That one. Good night, folks.
Holy frick! Rogue! I